That's right.
Well,
Show the
not
GM his place.
not where I come from.
And now to let everyone know we exist.
Yeah, where we come from, it's listen here, you little shit.
Ba-ba-ba. And da 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 da. Oh, I'll let you guys know. Da. Oh, works if I can see
What?
the chat. What was that?
I'm unsure why you're advertising the Twitch stream to us.
More
You
to
wanna
so you see
tune
the
in?
title.
Oh, okay.
And I already have it copy pasted, so
Ah.
it's just easier.
Oh, that's fine.
I mean, I always tune in to give Corby a view, so
But yes.
I just muted so I don't have to hear myself.
Yeah, the echo. Hello, everybody. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour. I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian, and we're doing another fine mission in the Great Continental War of the Setting Sun, a Fantasy Age 2nd edition RPG of historical fantasy in a sort of Napoleonic-inspired world. Let's get started. Much to do and much to thwart. In the crisp early embrace of early spring, after the victorious clash of the Lysell militia's cavalry and light infantry against a shadowy church guard unit hidden deep in the heart of Lysell Wood, tension hung thick in the air. The imminent arrival of l'Empereur de Gallia, Aileron Stornhelm, to his hometown of Lysell brought with it an air of both celebration and trepidation. The Emperor was on his way to meet his betrothed, the Imperial Princess Adelaide von Stolenlichtenstadt. Butchered that, sorry. A union that promised
God bless
unity. A union that promised unity, but also drew shadows of danger. With whispers of assassination plots and sabotage weaving through the wind, sous-lieutenants Diego Borgia, Isabel Dumas, and Corporal Luciano Bianchi, along with their resolute leader, Lieutenant Cormac McNeil, found themselves embroiled in a web of intrigue. In these tense moments before the Emperor's arrival, they delved into the cryptic warnings of the Church Guard, probing for any truth in the rumors of Almanian assassins or other covert threats. Each step they took echoed with the weight of responsibility, for they stood as the last line of defense, determined to unveil the sinister plot before it could shroud the day in darkness. And look upon the village of Lysell. And it is a few days yet before the Emperor arrives in Lysell. We're gonna sort of montage through a few of the days as you will have some in using what's called an advanced test. So similar to how we've been doing mass battles, in that sense, you as a group are trying to accrue enough successes, before you run out of time, essentially. Instead of racing against someone else, getting enough successes, you're racing against the clock. So you guys have 5 days and 5 nights before the Emperor arrives. So we'll go with, basically each of you will have a day 1, a night 1, day 2, night 2, so on. And then if you have enough successes, you may learn something. You may be able to make some preparations. Some of these roles can be used to figure out what's going on. Others can be preparing for the arrival or improving your own personal standing. And plots and machinations and subterfuge and other nefarious things. Or valorous things, you don't have to be sneaky. But yes, we start our first day on the morning, basically where we left off. You basically had the morning of after leaving the militia garrison. Or the morning after, I should say, rather.
Right.
So, I ask you, good messieurs and mademoiselles of Lysell, what do you plan?
Well, who should we start with?
With you, why not?
Oh, well, he who speaks the first words shall start then. 5 days and 5 nights sounds like a good enough time to try and investigate the situation that's going on at the docks. But I wouldn't want to talk to the actual local officials. What I'd try to do is I'd try to mingle with the foreigners, the people who actually come to the ports, the ship captains. Try and talk to them about their cargo, see if they're, not letting on more than they know, perhaps.
So you're basically meeting captains like at the docks, or are you trying to meet
At
them
the
at the governor?
docks, or we can go to the tavern, perhaps, buy a drink or two. Not wearing my uniform, so wearing my nice fancy clothes. We'll go speak with them, see if they're more pliable, perhaps, when a bit of alcohol has loosened their lips.
Do you focus on any particular foreigner? Because you are right to assume that Lysell, although not a massive town, it does see as one of the bay towns and port towns. It does see quite a bit of trade from Tin Islanders. Well, actually, everyone across the setting continent, minus across the setting sun continent, rather. Do you focus on anyone in particular, or you're talking to whoever of standing that you can talk to?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Cormac doesn't believe that the Alamanians are stupid, so even if they are trying something, talking to an Alamanian captain would be outright stupid, because I'd be revealing myself. However, there are probably captains from the Tin Isles or somewhere else that may have heard of whisperings of a plot in the wind. Or perhaps the Alamanians are using proxies from other nations to deliver potential illicit goods into Lysell. So I wouldn't start with the Alamanians, I'd start with everyone that's not Alamanian.
All right. Give me a communication investigation test.
Okay, that's just gonna be communication.
Do you have any bonuses or penalties for the bourgeois? I don't believe so.
No.
Okay. So,
Not quite yet.
I will grant you +1 to your roll because you are a person of high standing yourself.
And don't forget the clothes I'm wearing, like, they are really good.
Yeah, that's
Remember?
you're basically advertising your title. Actually, how much extra did you spend on your money? I forgot on your money. On your clothes.
So, do you want me to just take you through the list real quick? My hat's worth a gold piece, my hose are worth a gold piece, my jacket's worth a gold piece.
Stop. I'll give you another +1. That's very expensive clothing. But yeah, so you have a total +2, so that's not 16, but in fact
That's 18.
18. That is a successful test. Your stunt die is 2, so you generate 2. You've garnered 2 successes to the total. You're able to learn that, largely speaking... Oh, wow. Make you a little bigger. Do it for all of you, because we're zoomed out quite a bit. So yeah, you're able to determine that there doesn't seem to be a large movement among the docklanders. There is some shipments. There's still like military shipments that are happening, like arms and black powder and steel, and less militarily, but still nationally important foodstuffs. Although Gallia is a breadbasket. It's pretty good on its own. It's just trade. But there isn't a huge surge of black powder shipping from among the captains you speak with. Though they do tell you that they good men of good standing and merchants of finery and goods fear of the setting sun and its blazing glory, would never stoop to do anything that would besmirch their souls and deny them the hereafter.
Oh, no, no, of course not. But while I'm discussing with these gentle fellows, could I perhaps learn if they know, or if there were any reports from other captains that there have been stowaways aboard their ships?
They may require some nighttime talks, so to speak, evenings, and like you're kind of meeting these guys in the morning, going around and meeting a bunch of people. So the next time you check, it'll be actually we can do your night right now just to get it out of the way.
Sure.
They are very related to each other.
Yeah, so let's actually, delve a bit deeper into this. I know that they probably haven't been doing any illicit activities, or at least none that they want to openly admit, but they don't have to be the ones doing them. There could have been people on their ships stowing away from faraway lands coming in here as unregistered and potential terrorists.
Communication check. I'm still deigned to say investigation still, because you're still investigating, unless you have a...
Yeah.
But that's where I'm thinking.
There you go.
That's another 5, so 7 successes. While entertaining people on the first night, who come to your home, a lot of the captains just say the same thing they did before. They just appreciate the free drink and bragging and so on. You get a lot of useless, well, not useless to your life as a whole. It's nice to make contacts, but at the same time, it's not what you're asking about. It's not what you're trying to figure out. But one captain tells you, well, you didn't hear it from me, but says a certain Vinlander colonial.
Mhm.
Well, you didn't hear it from me, good McNeil, but I have heard that some captains, for an extra few leafs of galleon livre, will have been moving people off the manifest, if you
People of-
understand me.
Do you know people of what nationality?
Well, that's just it. It's from one end of Gallia to the other, is what I've heard. Which I'm not sure why one would bother. Roads work perfectly fine. But it
Most
is
interesting.
suspect.
I'll thank the man, give him some more wine, feed him all very nicely as I can. Some wine from my personal wine garden, and wrap up the evening.
Where else do we look to see as McNeil is entertaining and rubbing shoulders with captains from across the world?
Well, Diego's idea was kind of similar, but on the opposite end of the spectrum. As hometown boy, Diego was going to go and, talk with the stevedores and the dock workers, and also lean on his bourgeois family connections and reputations as the Borja trading house to talk with the factors and warehouse folks to kind of gather information from those areas.
Do you have any bonuses or penalty for bourgeois or the common folk?
Yes, I've got a total of +2 with the bourgeois and +1 for the common citizenry. And I don't know if being a hometown boy gives me a bonus there.
It'll give you a +1. You are the bourgeois are a known name here.
Right.
So a total of +4. And that sounds like communication investigations to me.
Yeah. So, and what I'm asking about are, because these are the people who, work in the warehouses and load stuff to and from the ships, and, deal with even people who like rent warehouses and all that. But what I'm looking for, has there anything been any sort of unusual, is there a particular warehouse that, some guys are, kind of, not, uniforms and guns and stuff, but they're, people who are being real adamant about making sure nobody comes near the warehouse, or, have there been, has anybody been able to pick up some extra coinage for some 1 a.m. unloadings or loadings, that kind of thing from the people who often get ignored for being in the middle of it.
Understood.
Okay, so let's do communications is 2. Do not have a focus. I get a +4. I wonder if I have to put the plus in there. We'll see. And die roll.
It's wrong color.
Oh, well, goodness.
Well, that doesn't make it. It's too low. No. That does indeed succeed. So it puts you to 13 game total. I'll tell you what you learn, and then you can figure out what you want to do with your stump points.
Okay.
Well, and actually, one thing I'll highlight. Sorry, I got the other way around. My mistake. Brain power. Let's go. So, you are able to determine that asking around and even as a bourgeois man of Lysell, the stevedores still chat with you because the bourgeois have made good business. Some of the people worked for your family in the past and have good opinions of you, and you have a general good reputation among both the people who run the dock and people who work the dock, to put it that way. And a lot of folk are, they don't know nothing, they don't know anything, or they genuinely don't, but eventually,
right.
As you press through the morn, a group of sailors who are dicing with some of the dock workers kind of let slip and then realize, well, there's no sense keeping it under their hats now. They've already started talking about it around you, so they'll just tell you.
Right.
They're not accusing anybody, just so they're clear, but a particular warehouse has been rather under lock and key by the various old families here in Lysell. Now, some locals go, well, sometimes the bourgeois may lord their wealth over us sort of attitude. But those who work the docks kind of read between the lines a little bit and go that it is unusual. It's one thing to have a secure storage in each warehouse, or have a rider take it direct to your house, or maybe even if it's super important, maybe ask the militia to go get it and escort whatever it is. But to have a dedicated, it is an unspoken thing among the dock workers that this warehouse is not to be poked around in. And people who tend to get a little too free with their hands find themselves met by rather burly galleons with stern faces. And some say that it's even haunted, although they laugh that off. That's just silliness. And then one says, no, really, somebody... It's like a guy just melted out of the shadows and jumped the guy. It's like, oh, he was just drunk or whatever. That's... People don't come from shadows. That's all fairy tales. The Emperor, the Magi aren't here anymore, Jean. And they make fun of him. Don't worry, the boogeyman isn't getting you. Ha ha ha. Shut up. Stop. I'm just telling a story. Leave me alone.
All right.
But what do you do with your evening, monsieur?
Well, let's deal with these stunt points first.
Yes, we should.
I believe I'm going to split it half and half social stunt, pay attention, and basic exploration stunt, extra information.
Pay attention. Interaction reveals. We look for. If you're pursuing investigation, you gain. Okay, so more information and more information. Essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Um.
But you can't use the same stunt twice, so.
Yup. So, you learned that after paying some attention to them, you notice that some of the people who work the docks, there's some new faces, which, it's a dock. There's new faces all the time. But there's a few new faces that look too clean shaven. Or occasionally you see someone with very piercing eyes, like very observing eyes. Like very piercing or staring eyes or even grim eyes. That's something that happens at docks sometimes, especially a more rough or city.
Right.
But Lysell is a very, as you can tell from the music backing, Lysell is a very relaxed town. It's a dock, sure, but it's a dock for the local villagers and the rich people who happen to live here. The bourgeois that happen to live here.
It's a nice place.
So it doesn't generally attract rough and tumble. This ain't a 10 Islander town. This ain't a, although mind you, 10 Islander towns tend to make a bit more money because they do way more business. But hey, Lysell doesn't mind it. They're happy with their docks and they live comfortably.
Right.
But yeah, you're seeing a few. But piercing eyes is a new look. Those are people who are watching you. They don't say anything. They don't confront you. They just kind of watch you, and then they kind of go about their business, or just people who just don't fit in. You're not sure precisely what, but it's just those little things: the eyes, the overly clean-shaven faces for dock workers.
Right. They have all their teeth.
Yeah. The other half, extra information. One of the guys kind of pulls you aside after the dicing and says, one of the ladies, I should say. She tells you, well, I'll say to you what they don't dare. And I really am starting to think that monarchists are involved. Because, as you may or may not know, monsieur, the warehouse in particular, that everyone's also frightened about, once, some many moons ago, was the warehouse of light. That is to say, a warehouse of the royal family. Though since Revolution, everyone seemed to have very politely forgotten about that fact. But I have not. I remember storming in there and looting it like anyone else. And I admit that to you, militia or not, because I'm not afraid of what I did. Some of these guys are.
No fear from me, madame. I, too, was here for the glorious days of the Revolution. In fact, I'm still looting places.
So I've heard. Just, be careful, Borgia. This is, you are a Lysellian, but you are not Gallian. The great game is still a game we play here.
Thank you for your honesty and for your warning. And I'll grease her palm with a little silver or a note or two.
She just slaps it away.
Okay.
What, you think I can't loot on my own? I can get my own silver, thanks.
I like her. What is her name?
Let me tell you. Gallian lady. Elodie Duval.
Many thanks, Mademoiselle Duval. May I say I hope to see you again.
To you as well, Monsieur Borgia.
All right, excellent.
What do you do with your night? Your first night, I should say.
Well, what else but scout that warehouse? I'll get some good dark clothing and a broad-brimmed hat to hide my face. And yeah, I'll just kind of see what I can see around the warehouse. Not going to be carrying my rifle, but I will be carrying swords and 2 pistols.
Are you just spying upon the place, or are you breaking into it? Are you surveilling, or are you...
surveilling, but also looking for opportunities for potential breaking and entering? I mean, yeah, first I got to see, okay, there's just no point in trying to get past these guys.
Give me perception seeing.
Okie dokie.
Actually, probably more apt to do it from the buildings across the way. An alleyway somewhere.
Could I use my Winalanian spyglass to get a +1 there?
You could.
Or is it too close, really?
You could, yeah.
Okay. So let's do 2, no focus, +1. Basic success.
Try as you might that night. What lamps are lit only to highlight the doors. You are in, this part of town is one of the more busy, low-class parts of town, along with the other side. And people are milling around. No one really bothers you where you're kind of spying upon the warehouses too much. People have learned since revolutionary days, maybe the guy with the spyglass needs to be left well enough alone. Leave him alone.
Fair enough.
Not our problem, and he's not causing any mischief, so no need to call the militia over it. But unfortunately, you don't really seem to see anything from the outside that night.
Okay. Well, there's some more nights to go, so I will get back in time to get some sleep and train with the voltigeurs the next day.
So, then
Morning, whatever.
Mademoiselle Dumas or Monsieur Bianchi?
I will spend the day about town. I would like to make introductions with most of the bourgeois. And invite those interested for a dinner later this week.
So you're trying to garner some bourgeois to meet with you and at the Dumas house?
Yeah, the ultimate goal is like to take the temperature, right? See, obviously they support their own, right? But they may have support for another faction as well, or they may just prove useful to talk to. So yeah, first making introductions and then actually trying to get information out of them via a dinner.
Let's go with communication etiquette, I believe, or something along that line. My memory failing me.
I only have persuasion, so.
Yeah. Well, that day you people are glad to take your coin and glad to take some invitations, but you find yourself in company of, I mean, they're bourgeois, but there's bourgeois and there's bourgeois. You know, you're getting the hangers-on, the the elbow rubbers, not the top hat wielding, moneyed, like the Stornhelms and the McNeils and the Borgias. Like, you're not running into people like that on that tier. You're running into more the people that work for those people. So you're running into people, but your investigation isn't getting a whole lot. But you are meeting some bourgeois that are in town that morning. The rest seem to be keeping their distance for some reason or another. Or maybe they're just busy.
All right.
What do you do with your evening? Or would you like me to focus on Bianchi for a moment?
Yeah, that's fine. I have to think.
Sure. Bianchi, monsieur, your first day?
Ah, yes, my first day. It would have been spent going to the church to inquire with them about whether, the girl from the farm came back and what she's had to say. And after following the Dame Rousseau's advice about showing the banner, try and find out what essentially the church knows of what's going on.
Certainly. And before I forget, I almost Dumas, did you have any bonuses for bourgeois or penalties? That might have tipped it over.
I had 2.
11? That might be enough anyway, because you're just doing basic stuff. You're doing introduction stuff. You're not prying yet. Yeah, actually, you know what? That +2 does put you to the 11 I needed. So actually, that adds 3. So you're at 16. I will rewind briefly and say to it that as your day wore on, and you thought, you know what, I just wasted my whole morning on this. I'm just getting a bunch of hangers on. Mildly frustrating. You do get some letters that from some more well-heeled bourgeois that they apologize for their absence, but they would appreciate you meeting with you in a soon day, especially in the week's end. So you get the feeling that maybe you didn't run into those particular people, but having run your reputation through the people you invited, they bragged about, hey, I met with Isabelle Dumas, so on, so on, so on, and then someone a little more higher up caught on to that and went, oh, well, I'd love to meet. I would have met with them anyway, but, now I know they're asking around about this, so I'll go meet them. The investigation results is that I will highlight that the bourgeois are willing to speak with you and gentlemen militia and gentlewomen militia. It's the most I can say with that role. But back to Luciana Bianchi. You were going to ask around church, ask around the lady you met in the north. You are showing your burned arm and banner.
Yeah, I essentially got a +3 for the church.
You have a penalty somewhere?
Oh no, that's including the penalty.
Oh, good. And you're just meeting with with lay folk. You're not talking to the high clerk, like the priest or anything.
Yeah,
like
I was going to be talking to as high as a person who would talk to me.
Yes. Give me a communication investigation.
I can give you communication.
Yeah. No, Mr. Incense. Over there, please.
So 14.
14. Enemy. Yeah, they'll add 4 to it, so 20. The lady that you sought out, grab her name here. Thalia. There she is. You do come across her. And she does, between your banner and your reputation among the clergy, the few clergy that are here, and some more devout members of the Church of the Setting Sun, Sons Dame Rousseau, of course, because she's her own thing. This is more the Lysellian churchgoers. You learn that morning that there is a rather stern belief that the Emperor is a man who currently mimes the word of the church, but is not a devotee. But they seem to believe, Thalia doesn't believe this, but the clergy here seem to believe that he is a person who, if he's willing to bend, well, he isn't necessarily bending me, because he crowned himself, but if he's willing to at least embrace the trappings of his religious titling and responsibility as Emperor of Gallia, then perhaps more education in his duties to the divine will see him right. And of the few church, and you find that some of the church folk are a little wary that the Lysell militia clashed with the church guard, but as yet they don't see it as sacrilege per se. They see it as an aching scar of the revolution, that sort of tension between the non-devotees and the devotees. To Thalia, she is hesitant to speak more focused on her prayers, and enjoying the sanctuary she has therein. And she does share with you that she is likely to become or she intends to become a observer of the sun. That is to say, a sort of monk or nunnery type position within the church here.
Okay.
Which you kind of know is one of those, there's sanctuary, and then you're a member of the clergy, so she's kind of slipping further and further into the devotees' ranks.
Yeah.
So, to Bianchi or Dumas, what do you do with your first evening?
I'll give Dumas a bit more time, but I was either gonna maybe try to get introductions to the Stormhelm, or I was gonna try and get permission to take the cooped up people in the militia, in the garrison, for a jog around the settlement to try and relieve tensions.
What do you want to focus this evening? What do you want to focus on this evening, I should say? Those are two very different objectives.
I think I'll do the relieving tension.
This won't help with the investigation, but this will help with your camaraderie with the soldiery. Give me communication leadership.
Ooh, I actually have that one. Does the fact that I have a +1 for militarist help?
It does.
Well,
12 on the dot's what you needed. Yeah, you're able to get a good run in with some of the soldiers who normally would prefer to not be doing nightly exercise because they're militia, not professional soldiers. So it's one of those like, well, Corporal Bianchi is, he's being friendly about it. He's not barking at us. He's being nice about it, and it's a good idea. And now the Emperor is coming and all, so you know what? Let's do a bit of exercise. Why not?
hey, it's optional. People don't have to come.
Well, yeah, corporals say that, and then they rat you out to the sous lieutenants. No, that's the joke. But people know that you mean well. You're not actually you're not trying to get you somebody. You genuinely are saying, no, it's optional. You don't have to, but if you wanna. Which on your nightly run through some of the wood and around the garrison, you do actually notice, and you actually notice that the various members of the non-commissioned join you, like some line infantry privates, some voltigeurs, some cuirassiers, just for the exercise of it. Because they don't want to be shown up by the line infantry and the voltigeurs. Like we can run too, and it turns into a light game between them. So there's a bit more of a lightheartedness among the militia, a little more connected to each other that night. And some people realizing that maybe the Castromite is looking out for them. So they kind of take you a little more seriously as a fellow militiaman.
Well, like I said, I'm stationed here. It's kind of my job.
Well, maybe you're just collecting the silver.
Well, that as well.
And that evening, as dining and wining and spying and jogging is occurring, what is Isabelle Dumas up to?
I will go. Is there anywhere that I've heard that revolutionaries gather? Not as like a secret hiding place, but like if you wanted to meet some for like conversation and stuff, like someone might say, I don't go to that inn over there because they're always talking about republicanism and stuff, and I don't want to get mixed up in that. But it's not like they're actively like have maps on the wall plotting a coup or something.
Those sort of meetings generally happen around the general store. People will kind of they'll buy some sundries, and because they'd love to have a coffee house here, but the inn isn't really a coffee house, really. It is an inn. It is a place people sleep and drink wine and eat and such. It's the place where everyone goes. There's no one faction or another really holds the inn in that manner, other than perhaps bourgeois, but that's because the person owns the place. And that's still a weak argument. But if you wanted to find other revolutionaries who are talking about the good old days, and Lysell is one of those places that they don't mind talking about it. A lot of Gallians don't. But this is the place where the Stornhelm, the Emperor, the revolutionary hero, was born. So people here feel a little more free to talk about it around sundries and getting maybe even hanging out along the water line next to the store and chatting, enjoying the water.
I will go do that then. The general objective is just Isabelle is a ardent Republican, so it's always enjoyable to talk about the latest ideas and new revolutionary concepts. So I guess hoping that like meeting them and getting to know some of them would be a good side effect, but that would definitely be a side effect to just having a good time.
There's a thing for this. There's a focus for this.
I have willpower faith. Said something about how that could be Republican and not church.
You know what? You can give me that. Willpower faith. I have a way to use that. Do you have any revolutionary penalty or bonus?
+2.
+2 to your roll, so 12. Yeah, that gets it. You have a stump point. I will say this does actually add to your investigation. As a side effect, you happen to help with the investigation because revolutionaries might know about. Revolutionaries may be familiar with the tactics of the radical, shall we say? But you find that the revolutionaries of Lysell, find that there is a sort of growing brotherhood of revolutionary spirit and republican spirit elsewhere across the Setting Sun continent. There's a belief, even so far as the colonial Finlanders are supporting from afar, although there's their revolution, then there's our revolution. But, there's this general belief that even though Aileron has set aside his first consul title and has now embraced the imperialness and the monarchical trappings, which kind of makes them worried. They're not terribly thrilled that he did that. It feels quite a betrayal. No one wants to say that word about him because he's too much of a revolutionary hero. So no one wants to say word 2 of anything negative about him. But no one's happy about it. But they have faith that the revolution will persist and prevail, and that reason and the people's will be made known and spread to every corner of the continent. And they're glad to see that someone of your standing is still willing to hold the revolutionary fire true. And they chat about stuff about how they believe, because there is a certain sense you get that perhaps the revolution is falling, that it's being tampered by Aileron, but people seem to have faith that will still stand, that it will press on.
I'll use impress because I might come back later with the intention of actually getting into what they know or what they think about the situation. So I'll set myself up for that coming back.
Yeah, I'll go then. On the second day, who wishes to continue their activities first?
I say we also at some point meet up and compare notes. That way we're all kind of up to speed.
You could do that instead of going into your first day. You could have a scene, if you will, of meeting each other somewhere or either away from eyes or surrounded by eyes, depending if you want to be at the inn or at someone's house.
Do we want to loop in the captain and Rousseau or no?
I don't think we have enough to loop them in yet. So I say we loop each other in at my house and discuss further strategies.
Okay.
The four of you assemble at the McNeil house.
You will be offered wine and cheese, of course.
After passing some people, some bourgeois folk who were dining with McNeil.
It's 7 a.m.
Well, does that mean it's not wine o'clock?
Yes, it means it's cafe o'clock.
Nonsense.
I want a cafe noir and a croissant.
Look in my backyard, Diego. That's a vineyard. That's not a cafe, coffee plantation.
Well,
How much richer he would be if it was.
yeah.
If only it was tea leaves.
Yeah. That weak drink. Oh.
In any case, report what you have found, please.
All of you, perception, hearing.
Okay.
Oh God.
What if I would like to just go start stabbing the bushes with the sword?
We have to know there's something to stab first.
Wow, they rolled really, really well.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm just not rolling today.
He's rolled better.
Anything? I know 17 is gonna be hard to beat. I mean, that's
without me adding anything to it. That's just the raw roll.
yeah. So I'm not gonna spend an action point yet.
Yeah, same.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, it's a pleasant day. Birds chirping, wind blowing. All is right in Lysell. Right?
Yeah.
So I had the pleasure of speaking with some captains, ship captains. They've told me about various shipments that are coming in here, but it seems that nothing illicit has been making their way, at least not to their own knowledge. With the exception of people. For some reason, there are galleon people being scrubbed off manifests of ships, going from one end of the country to another. What it could possibly mean, I have no idea.
Well, there is a warehouse along the docks that is of interest. The entire warehouse is being particularly well guarded. It's the one that used to be the Royal Warehouse. Some people I talked to seem to be thinking that the monarchists may be having something to do with it there. But in any event, there are all sorts of stories about, guards just kind of melting out of the shadows to rough up somebody who gets too close. But definitely a point of interest.
Who owns it legally?
I don't know, but maybe with your office and the mayor's office, you could find out.
I'd imagine it was in the property of the city. We hardly have any private dock houses here.
I mean, they're all private.
Are they not state-owned?
No, I mean, assuming by Borch's family, right? His family owns some of them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anything that was of particular of state importance would fall either to the garrison's holding or the mayor's office holding.
Right. It's not an actual like port city that has tons and tons of cargo coming into it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not like the revolution nationalized much.
Much as they tried.
Yeah.
Perhaps you may learn more during the day. I will go look for documents. Today, and then tonight, perhaps I will meet you with a squad or a platoon from the garrison, and we can draw them out.
That's not the worst plan.
I think it's perhaps better a rash move. If there truly is something clandestine going on at this warehouse, showing up with a troop full of armored soldiers would only raise suspicion even further.
That is why we will use Diego as bait.
I can.
I beg your pardon?
You'll try to break in, and when you are surrounded, I'll be there to save you.
Mr. Bianchi?
I see many holes in this plan.
My information could probably help.
Yes?
What do you have?
First of all, I spoke to people within the church. Apparently, there is some discontent about the emperor not quite fully believing in the religion, just miming the words. And regarding breaking into the warehouse, I have started doing nighttime runs with some of the people from the garrison. Maybe if we ran past there tonight, we might find it broken into and have to request the garrison to investigate.
I don't know why you would need to go through such trouble. We can just go down there and look. This is, I guess, GM, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming there is no such protection against search and seizure. That's a pretty modern concept.
It matters who's status matters is more the thing. The higher the status, the more you might get yelled at. But there isn't like an ironclad protection of search and seizure. But
yeah, I may have to. Right, if I go and screw with the mayor's friends, he might use his personal power to mess with me back. Right.
Yeah.
But there's no constitutional or legal requirement that protects every citizen's right to privacy.
But a warrant wouldn't hurt, I think.
I don't know why you would get such a thing.
Assuming that whoever's issuing the warrant or anybody around issuing the warrant is not going to leak out that what we're looking into.
We're the garrison. We don't need one.
Well, in any case, I had a thought. Whoever owns that warehouse does one thing for certain, and that is pay taxes. If I can get in, perhaps, with whoever runs the finances of this town, and see the financial records, I might be able to eke out information as to who the warehouse belongs to. And surely they weren't all that tidy in their financial work, so there might be something hiding in the books.
Yeah, that I think I was planning on doing that already.
Oh, would you like to do that then?
Yeah, because I work in the mayor's office.
Oh, very good. Saves me the trouble of speaking with the mayor. Very unpleasant. Right, what are your next plans of action then?
Well, I was going to introduce myself into Stormhelm. Maybe see if they have any information.
Ah, bold.
Well, it is another resource if anybody's going to be interested in protecting L'Empereur, it's going to be his family.
What if his family doesn't care for him that much? He has been away for quite a while.
Huh.
Yeah,
you know how much...
he has given them an empire.
Right.
Well, you know, familial relations aren't always as simple as you make them out to be.
They become a lot simpler when you can give your siblings kingdoms.
True enough.
So, I'm not seeing many holes in my plan, Diego. What holes do you see?
The ones where I get surrounded is a rather concerning one.
But are you really surrounded if there are riflemen waiting to jump to your aid?
Well, it depends on whether or not you realize I'm surrounded. It's not a small warehouse.
Diego, perhaps I could assist you in your infiltration of the warehouse. Chat up the guards, perhaps, cause a ruckus out front, get their attention while you do your thing.
Well, we don't need him to break into the warehouse. We just need him to draw the guards out, right? Because we don't want them to melt away, right? If they see us coming as a block of infantry.
I thought you were telling me to break in and get surrounded, not that.
No.
Making a distraction in the street. That's why I was like, hold on.
No, I'm talking about like going up to the front door and like looking around and opening things, because they said, right, people will melt out of the crowd and come at you, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm saying when they do that, then we spring a trap on them to keep them from running away, right? So we we seize them, and then we can go into the warehouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, which is, I mean, what McNeil's suggesting, right, is to draw them
Right.
out. So either way,
Well, then I'll tell you what I shall do. I'll wait in preparation tonight with a squadron of line infantry. And we'll wait for the go-ahead to get the people out of the warehouse. How does that sound? The rest of you can join should you wish, and then we can search the place. However, I still think this is perhaps too drastic of a move. It's almost like we're showing our hand way too early.
but it is the best source of information we've found so far. And if we're able to take
And
some
I
of them,
understand that, but we still have some time before the Emperor arrives. Why don't we just let it sit for a second, let it cook a bit more, dig up information in the meantime, and see where it'll take us?
because if it cooks too long, it'll blow up in our face.
But if we pull it out of the oven just at the right moment, we'll have a perfect turkey.
I've always preferred my steaks medium rare as opposed to well done.
And I understand what you're saying, but we are showing our hands way too early. Trust me on this. It's a delicate art. Just go and gather information, and we can wait one more night at the very least.
Yeah. That works for me.
And, Mr. Bianchi, would you like me to help you introduce yourself to Stornhelm tonight?
No, I shall be doing that during the day. My current night times are trying to relieve stress among the militia to build up camaraderie.
You see McNeil raises an eyebrow. Uh-huh. I see. Unknown. Of course. You do whatever you feel is necessary during the night, Mr. Bianchi. We shan't judge you.
Judge me?
Never mind. Very well then. Should you require my aid, please visit me here. I can make the appropriate introductions for you at Stornhelm.
Thank you.
Right, well, if that's all, be gone. Unless you would care for more wine and cheese.
No, it's too early for wine.
Well, suit yourself. Cormac will pour himself another glass of wine. Oh, go on then.
So yeah, as the three of us are walking out together, once we get heading down towards the garrison, I'll say it in a low voice. I think I may pay an early visit on the warehouse in question.
Do you expect any trouble?
It's likely, but if,
Well, I wouldn't
if
want
friends
you
know
to
to
be-
miss me after a certain amount of time, I would hope they would come and look for me.
Well, I can't let you do anything rash. So I'll have to make sure that there are people watching the warehouse so that you don't do anything that would be against the lieutenant's wishes. And
Of course,
if you
I've
happen
never
to
disobeyed
evade
the
us,
lieutenant's
right,
orders.
then I'll be able to clap you in irons along with anyone else who assaults you.
And if you require some assistance, just ask.
I will note if there's coordination in a particular phase, as it were, in the day phase or the night phase, that's that person's day or night, because you're basically sitting there waiting to help them.
How's your dex, Bianchi?
My dex is 0, but I have a 3 strength, so I can break the lock.
Yes, but I've tried to sneak in. And stealth and lockpicking are all dex, so.
Hey, if I manage to get away from that group of 10 without being caught, I can break into a warehouse.
What is your dex?
3.
Rogue.
Okay, you got the best.
And I also get a reroll on stealth due to scouting. And I have a really good set of lockpicks.
Someone has an honest living. Locksmithing, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm a soldier. It's an honest living.
But yeah, like I said, if you want help, let Bianchi know and he'll help you. If not, he'll keep an eye out, and if he doesn't see you return to the garrison by night, he'll come to the warehouse.
Well, and as I'm assuming we're still walking and talking in very low voices, I'll go, well, you know, the plan of the distraction out front is not the worst idea. Drunken strongman getting in a street brawl with some of the guards of the warehouse is fairly decent distraction, and then the militia comes to break things up. Meanwhile, who knows what's happening at the other parts of the warehouse?
So I am to be stereotyped?
Some people pass you and nod their heads in respect, recognizing the three of you, and continue on their way. You're on one of the main roads of the village, so.
Right.
Yes, I will. I have to go to the mayor's office to see about the documentation, but I've also heard word that there is a disturbance among some of the troopers, and that they may get involved in rowdy disputes. So I think it would be wise to ask the captain to let us, the cuirassier, break out clubs instead of swords and patrol the streets tonight.
Well, he did say to increase patrols throughout the city, so seems like a good idea to me.
If that's the case, I can create a distraction tonight, and I can be arrested for it while someone else sneaks.
I warn you, Luciano, you don't have any of the protections you were afforded in the academy. If someone who has superior rank to me or Diego shows up during the disturbance, you very well could get lashes for this. And there's nothing that either of us could do to stop it.
I understand.
Hey, by the way, GM, what is our target number for this investigation? Or do we know?
You don't know. The target numbers fluctuate based on what kind of test you're doing, and the threshold depends on how difficult this plot is. I will say that you've garnered, 21? And 21 should get you most challenging plots. 24 is hard, 30 is formidable. So if you do or die, if you hit 30, you will definitely find it, but you're close. This is not an easy or average plot.
Right.
That I can tell you because that's something you would be able to suss out from just reading the book. So that's free information to know. The target number and the actual success threshold you don't know currently. So who's taking their first day's action? Second day's action.
I'll go to the mayor's office and rummage through property documents.
Give me intelligence plus one of the lures.
Oh no, I only have engineering.
Yeah.
Uh, any bonus? Because I know someone who works in the office too.
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
Worth asking. So you're looking up ownership of the old royal warehouse.
Yep.
You spend a good chunk of that day after your walk from the McNeil house, and or Shea McNeil in Galleon. You go through the records, and you find the other warehouses, and then you find out that the old royal warehouse is put somewhere else in the building. So you have to go find that. That's stored in a different place because it's one of the more, it's a historic building sort of thing. And okay, fine. You go to a different part of the building. You'll start looking it up there. And then you don't find the folio right away. Well, that becomes annoying. So you start asking around clerks, where's the folder? Like the ones who are responsible for knowing where stuff is. Where is this? Tell me where you put it. And they tell you where they put it. It basically, there was something that was being, some of the old documents from the Revolution were being taken out and being refiled so they can be moved from the old storage to new storage. So again, you go over there. So many hours of your morning bleed away doing this until eventually, finally, yes. It's not that one, not that one. This is the folio of documents that talk about the old royal warehouse. And you open it up, and it is empty. Not a single piece of paper or livre. And that thing should have a ton, because it's an old building. It would have changed hands, taxes, even exemptions back in the royal days. You would have to note that. So someone didn't pretend, oh, I'm the royal warehouse. No, the hell you're not. They are. We have documentation. You don't get to say you are just because you feel like it.
Does this mean that that because this office has no documentation, that in a legal sense it has no legal owner?
Give me another intelligence roll. That's a good question.
I should probably spend those stunt points because that might affect this roll.
Oh, that 11 didn't hit the number.
Oh, okay. Does that 11 hit the number?
Oh, different question, different kettle of fish. 11. 11 on that question tells you that is quite likely the case, unless it's refiled under something else. Like it may, unless it got changed, but that's still suspicious, because even if it changed hands, if there is some other document or deed somewhere else, one or two things has to be true. Well, one of three things, sorry. One is the possibility you think, which is very possible, that there is no paperwork, and this place is, as far as on paper, is owned by no one. Which kind of peels away a lot of legal protections for good and ill. Secondly, someone could have, in a very old-fashioned sense, have the deed and property documents in their personal possession. That's suspicious because in your office, you're supposed to be made aware of that. Like if if the Dumas house has it, you'd have it in your house, and you'd still leave a document in your folio at the mayor's office. Hey, the Dumas have this document. Like you need to look at it. They have it. It's like, oh, well, okay, then I'll talk to them. That's annoying. It really should be in our office, but whatever. The third thing is that it's been filed somewhere else in some other part of your filing system, under some other designation. But that would require, to verify that, you'd have to search through the documents again and look for it to see if it's buried somewhere else. So you know from that roll, that is a successful roll. You do know there are 3 possibilities. Your possibility is possible, but there are 2 other possibilities that could be occurring right now. CSI historical fantasy. Sorry. Carry on.
I'll go for extra information and wariness in case there's any consequences to looking around.
Extra information. You either boldly or quietly, up to you really, you may be able to ask in the hypothetical or in the definite who could do such a thing if it was to be done. Beyond simple thievery, like, someone walking in and taking everything. That you could already puzzle that on your own. But who would have the pull to do this, to mess with this document? And the extra information I'll tell you is that there are very few people who could legally walk around with those papers and manage them without you being immediately aware of it, because you're one of the senior, like, you're an important figure in the mayor's office, so you're supposed to be looped in on stuff like this. Like, someone's supposed to tell you. So the only people who go around you would be the mayor, the captain of the militia, or the Stornhelms.
See, I was gonna ask if instead of going through the laborious process of searching all the documents, can I just go and look for the buildings that have been filed as owned by the Stornhelms? Just take the guess and put all my eggs in one basket.
That is something you can do with your evening for sure, because your morning was eaten up trying to find out what you just learned, and that extra information was more of a, you happen to learn that as well. But yes, focusing on a particular person will lower your target number a lot, because you're not doing a laborious long search. You're narrowing the search to a particular target. So I look to the mornings of Bianchi, Borgia, or McNeil.
I think Borgia's going to go find Sophie Rousseau.
You find her. She's staying with the Dumas, isn't she? At the Dumas house.
Yep.
So yeah, you'd actually find her at the Dumas house.
Then I will go there. Maybe they have coffee here.
Do they have coffee there, Dumas? Because your servants would have what is on hand.
We live at a port, so I would think so, but I would think that it's not like, right, I'm not a coffee merchant, so it's kind of like a prized thing in the kitchen. Like, it's just not everybody who can go in the kitchen and get that. Right, because it's probably a significant expense when I buy food, is getting those kind of, like, those things that have to be imported.
Yeah, that's either from the Ten Islanders or from the Vinlanders.
Fair enough. Whatever.
But yeah, you can probably get a cup. Like, it's probably, between yourself and Rousseau, it's like you'd be able to account for the loss.
Yeah. Yes, and I'll ask to meet with the Dame Sophie.
You're able to meet with her rather easily. She's not really she's under parole, so she can't really go a lot of places at present until things are resolved.
Right.
Monsieur Borgia?
Mademoiselle Rousseau. So, despite our admitted differences in philosophy and military outlook, I believe that you are sincere in attempting to carry out your orders from the church to prevent this plot against the emperor. My fellows and I are engaged in gathering what information we can about whether or not this plot exists and in what form. We have managed to gain certain intelligence, but we do not have many contacts among the church. So I have come to ask you if you might use your position and friends within the church to help us learn what can be learned from that angle of things about this plot. I have heard rumors that rather than the Alemannians, it is a group of monarchists, but that is only rumors, and I do not wish to focus our attentions completely on one faction when it may be a different one, or perhaps multiple ones.
I'm afraid that your Corporal Bianchi has reached the depths that is the clergy of Lysell. We have no monastery here, nor order house, and the garrison is secular. So, what I can tell you is that I am led to believe that some measure of black powder has been moved into Gallia, and that such will be used against our emperor. The trick of it is, where does one store such things, and where does one, or how does one implement such a thing without the Imperial Guard or the garrison coming into wariness of it?
Well, that is helpful. Provides another avenue of investigation. And how is the situation of your men?
They're behaved and are sore with their being put off the field of defending their emperor, but Lysell militia has proven itself competent, if nothing else. So there is no resentment at or belief that you're going to fail in defense of our emperor. Between yourselves and the Imperials, it will be quite a deep web, quite a widespread web that would be able to evade any attempt to curtail it.
And I'll finish out the visit with some pleasantries and stuff, but I think I've learned about as much here as I can learn.
Give me perception hearing.
Ooh. Elevenses.
Don't worry about it. Monsieur McNeil, Monsieur Bianchi.
GM, one general question. Which direction are we expecting the Emperor to come from? Like east or west or north?
He'd be going east to west, toward the setting sun, is a sort of traditional way to enter a town, if you're trying to show off your piety.
Okay.
Which, as Emperor, he should at least make the trappings of it, because it makes people less nervous about it. It's considered bad luck by people if he entered the other way.
Right. And do we have like his itinerary, like where is he meeting his bride at the docks? Are they proceeding to where? What do we know that yet?
You don't know the specifics currently. You'd have to check with, if anyone would know, Leclerc would probably know, if they told him. But one can presume that he's going to have this big thing at the docks. Like he's
Okay.
going to meet his beloved at the docks, and they're going to do a little walk around town and see various places. Which the village is only so big, so there's only so many places you can show her before going to the Stormhelm estate.
Sounds good.
I believe McNeil passed the buck to Bianchi.
He certainly did. So yes, I would like to dress up in my uniform as smartly as I can, and I'll head over to Stormhelm.
As you walk in uniform, do you have your black powder weapons at hand, or any weapons at hand, or are you just in uniform?
I think I'd have the engraved scimitar at my side, but no glaive, no rifle.
As you pass through the market square, busily working away that morning, people trading and what. Some people give you a look, but then again, there's a few militia people milling around anyway, because that's normal. And they notice you, and they don't think much of it, because you're a corporal walking from here to there, that's fine. What puzzles people is that you keep going through the square all the way to the Stormhelm house, which gets you a couple looks of what's the corporal want with the Stormhelms, but no one's gonna stop you. It's probably official business or something, whatever, and they carry on with their day. And you come upon the Stormhelm house, which, despite all the imperial majesty and power of the emperor, this very much is still a bourgeois, it should be a noble's house, because the Stormhelms are a noble family, but it's kind of more upper bourgeois in appearance and stature. Has a bit of green around it. It's separated away from the market a bit. It's very close to it. You see some people some gardener trimming at the flower, or not trimming, but like watering the flowers and stuff like that. Pruning some of them. The gardener kind of tips his hat at you and carries on with their day.
Yeah, I'll give a nod in return as I approach the door to either ring, knock, or chime.
As you move up to the door to knock, the door opens. And you see an individual in a smart buttoned-up jacket, well-polished boots, and a rather well-kept, almost military-looking cap, but it looks more less a helm and more a rank of some kind. It's a lot more. It's not a tall box one like yours is, like the stovetop looking one. It's a lot more butted down and more rounded. And let me get you that person. It's this one.
Excuse me.
I mean, that's an interesting name for a person.
He's Alamanian.
Makes sense.
Oops, wrong person. Yeah. And you see from his uniform makes him seem an official of the of Gallia in some capacity. There's definite white with a lot of gold and blue adornment. Give me an intelligence check. Probably be like a military lore or something like that to know what he's wearing.
Would the fact that I have a +1 to militarist help?
It would. You might be a little more.
15.
15. You recognize a couple of things. One of which is that he has a stylized sunburst with intricate entwining rays of gold and silver pinned to his jacket, like about his neck, which indicates he's of the Lysell de Lysell. But the uniform indicates that he is of what was once upon a time considered called Le Secret du Roi, or the royal secret. Military officials, or even non-military officials, who were once upon a time the king's personal soldiery to enact and look out for things. A sort of secret service of sorts.
Yeah.
Now, they aren't. Since the revolution, it was thought that they were disbanded because they are very much a very monarchist. You know, they would be the people who would try to sneak the queen out of Lumerburg during the revolution. You know, they'd be the final defenders, those brave musketeers sort of thing. You know, to it, you actually see that the man opens the door. You notice that he is in that uniform, but from his appearance, the style of his hair, the style of his spectacles about his face, you see that this individual is a Vinlander, an indigenous Vinlander, who is, according to his uniform, he's an officer of the Secret du Roi. And you can see at his hip he has a pistol and a saber.
Greetings. My name is Corporal Luciano
Bianchi.
Yes.
I'm an officer of the Imperial Court, Mato Riverwind.
It's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
He steps out and closes the door behind him. How can I help you, Corporal?
I was hoping to see if it's possible to have a word with someone within the Stormhelm household.
For what reason, Corporal?
Recently, as your attire would probably give away, we have had a dame of the church here claiming to be on a mission to prevent the Emperor's death.
And you believe speaking with the Stormhelms will further this in some capacity?
I do. I believe that maybe the Stormhelms, or maybe people a part of, as he looks up and down the uniform of your profession, may have information that will help us better protect the Emperor and the Princess.
With me, Corporal. He gestures at you and starts walking around the house.
Yeah, I'll follow.
He walked you out to a small pond behind the Stormhelm estates. You see it's kind of a sort of swimming, fishing hole sort of thing. Like, there's a little dock there. There's not a whole lot of people out here. And not being a hometown person, you don't know a ton about this place, but it's a place you normally wouldn't have to go. It's an extension of the Stormhelm holdings, basically. Corporal. What are your thoughts on the good King Edric Stornhelm? He says, looking out into the water.
Even though I have not personally met the king or the emperor, I do hold to a degree some love and appreciation to both. The fact that I grew up in a small, rundown mining town with no prospects, probably to die in the mines or of the Black Lung. But between the two of them, I've managed to find my way into Nuremberg, the academy. Now here, a chance to better my standing, my life. So I do have, again, appreciation and love for both.
It is Bianchi being truthful when he says that.
He is.
Riverwind gives you a look.
It's the Galleon King.
The Peninsular
Oh
King.
no, Castrum. Yeah, sorry,
Castrum
Castrum.
Ah, okay.
Then, Corporal, one way to show your appreciation and perhaps discuss your loyal service to the Empire, I may ask you a favor, Monsieur.
Depending on the favor, I cannot say unless I know.
He turns and stares straight on at you. Speak not one word. To the Stornhelms, and leave their name out of your investigations until such time that the Emperor tells you otherwise. If so, and if you engage me this favor, then I believe we may share tea together. If not, well, then you don't. Shrugs.
I would accept this request under one condition, or a question to yourself.
You may ask, I may not answer. It depends, he smirks.
Do you intend the Emperor or the King harm?
Give me a communication check.
Could I throw leadership out?
No.
I figured as much, but I thought I'd try.
Yeah, it's worth asking.
Would I very much doubt it'll help, but I've got merciful to thine enemies, which is like plus church and plus common and middle. Would that possibly come in? That he knows that I'm a kind person.
Surprisingly, no.
Oh, fantastic.
He doesn't seem to care that you're a nice person.
It was worth a go.
Yeah, which tells you something of the man, I will say.
I appreciate a bastard. But yes, I shall attempt and hopefully not screw the boot. Ooh, I probably need to re-roll that.
You probably do, yep.
So if I spend an action point to reroll, am I able to then spend another action point to reroll if needed?
You can. You just have to take the latest roll.
Okay. Well, I'll spend one at the moment. And I'll reroll. Can I just reroll the 2 dice?
You reroll the whole thing. You either give a plus
whole
2
thing.
to the roll, or you reroll the whole thing.
What would a +2 get it me?
You'd have to spend it and find out. Sorry.
God damn it. I'll spend for the reroll first.
That's unfortunate.
I'm going to spend another 1.
Okay.
They see
Does
me
anyone else want to give
rolling.
me 1?
They hate in.
Has anyone got any spare action points to want to throw me away so I can roll even lower?
You know what? Take mine. I don't think I'll be using mine this time around.
Yeah, I'd like to spend one.
Feel
of
free
them.
as you think about McNeil's orders and how important this is.
God damn, if I roll even lower.
You'll
Screw
only
his
have
orders.
yourself to blame on
Stupid
this one.
Tinlander. Well, I mean...
You, my friend, need lessons in communication.
Have you been teaching me?
No, clearly not.
Well, yeah, that's the end of your luck, Bianchi, yes?
Yeah. I tried.
That... If I were to tell you, Corporal, the question is, would you believe me? Good day, monsieur. And he gestures back to the front of the house.
I do agree to your terms, but I will keep an eye out anyway, as I'll head off.
We look to the day of McNeil.
Oh, the day of McNeil shall be mostly spent.
Drinking.
What do I have a manservant?
Yeah. You're upper class.
Do I have several?
You have a few. Your house is only so big. Your most of your servants are at your other place, most likely. Well, this is your retirement home, so you probably have a couple here, yeah.
How many of them are
Like the-
spies?
Yeah, I'd like to gather them all at my leisure while I sit in my rocking chair drinking a glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell them, okay, gentlemen, well, it's time for something that we've not done before, but considering the circumstances, it might be actually time to do it now. I'd like you to take a fine comb and do a sweep of the estate, of the vineyards, and see if there have been any unwanted guests roaming around in my backyard. I shall be heading off to the market. I hope you have something for me when I return.
Give me either your choice of communication leadership or intelligence military lore.
Here it goes. That should be enough.
Oh. You go to market and enjoy yourself and see some people, and some people talk to you and talk about Tinlander stuff and try to sell you some of the local stuff. Just another day in the market. It's rather pleasant. And by the time you get back, your butler attends to you.
We shall call him Gerard.
Gerard? Oh, give me an old Gerard in mind. This one. Where are the... I don't have enough tokens for people with fine mustache. That's immediately what thought jumped to mind.
And a monocle. A fine mustache and a monocle.
respectable looking one. What did you say his name was?
Gerard.
Like, whoops. Hit it. That doesn't help any of us. How would you like it spelled? That's how I heard it.
That looks okay.
A moment. My Lord McNeil, I believe we have had sneakabouts on the estate, or around the estate anyway.
And how can you prove this?
One of the vineyard sons spotted some boot prints near the window over there, and my constitutionals do like to get a feel for the garden and the grass and, well, everything. And he is right. Those boots were not there, and they are no workman boots.
Very well. If you could please, in the privacy of your own chambers, construct 3 letters addressed to Diego Borgia, Isabel Dumas, and Luciano Bianchi, warning them of what has transpired at my vineyards, and to keep all further discussions inside my house strictly non-business, if you will. Okay, can you do that?
The GM's thinking how to implement that. I will say that will eat your night phase as you direct Gerard and his runners to get to people quickly, because you know your officers quite well, more than he does, because he knows you well. He doesn't know them well. His job is to help you in particular, not outsiders. And non-Tenallanders, of all things.
In the letter, I'll also write, probably none of our homes are safe, so all meetings should be done somewhere neutral.
Give me communication deception, or I would actually take intelligence and military lore still, because this is like secret communications in some manner.
You can keep asking it, but I don't have it, so
just letting you know, just so when you choose focuses in the future, you know what's out there.
Here's a communication.
All right. So to the Knight of Bianchi, Dumas, or Borgia.
So I think we're acting together, aren't we?
3 of you are meeting at the warehouse?
Well, I have to go to the garrison and call up the cuirassiers and get them together, armed with, clubs, so we don't kill everybody. And then I'm going to meet them.
Yeah, Borgia is going to go kind of by himself to get into that neighborhood. He's again going to be wearing dark, nondescript clothing. He's not carrying a rifle, but pistols and blades, lockpicks, everything he has that may rattle has been wrapped in like cloth to dampen the sound. And I'm going to be, from what I saw last night and then today, I'm going to be looking for a route in above the street, like instead of like trying to break into a street level window or something like that. Is there a way in from up top?
Well, because across from this roof to that roof, sort of thing.
Yeah, like parkour.
For some reason, you feel the memories of someone getting a cafe latte, but that doesn't make any sense. Someone's accessing your genetic memory. And unfortunately, Bianchi is BRB? Question mark. Well, we can resolve some other roles first before we see what he's up to. I assume he's helping you guys in some capacity. Dumas, I will ask of you. communication leadership, or intelligence military lore to organize the troops. You're able to, because you don't have to get special permission from Captain Leclerc, because you're enacting his standing order of in cruise patrols. Like, okay, well, you're exchanging swords for clubs. All right, well, you're on town patrol. That makes sense. You probably have a few lying around, just in case of that sort of thing. Probably the old clubs that people have around, But let's see if you can organize them in nice and Bristol fashion without any of them getting wise. Oh, that was your roll. I just missed it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're able to roust about your cuirassiers and get them suited up and ready for a bit of night patrol. Forget how many they are.
There's 10 of them.
What I'll do? Oh, I know what these. Because it is a significant amount of people moving around, it's worth noting their presence. What's this one, isn't it? Rar.
It's the Vargar.
And where are you mobilizing them to?
Ultimately, right, I expect Bianchi to start a fight here to draw away the guards, and I'm gonna go get involved, but I have to give him time to pull that off. So I think up and down the docks, but never getting closer than earshot. Like, we'll come within earshot a couple of times of the thing, but we never pass in front, right? That way we don't look like that's our target.
Right. You look like you're just doing a night patrol of the docks. Like, yeah, we might go all the way over here. It's like, why? Well, the general store's there. We're peeking over there, and then we're coming back this way. Check out the blacksmith. We come back again, Not a weird patrol. That makes total sense. Borgia, you sneaky devil, you. I am going to ask you for dexterity acrobatics. See if you can find yourself a nice spot that you think you can manage to get to pull off to get into the warehouse through upper windows.
16.
16, eh?
Yes.
You're able to find a window, yeah. Takes you a bit of time to find you find the window, and it's just a matter of finding a nice position to pounce from, so you're not just literally or somewhere where you're literally running up the side of the building. It's like, no, I want a nice spot where you very quickly get to the window and get in before someone sees you messing around.
I will take a moment to make sure I'm unobserved.
It's a quiet night in Lysell. Some lights around the general store, a few lights here or there in the close townhouses, but no one's really paying attention to the warehouses right now.
Any guards or anything around our target?
No.
That's deeply suspicious, but okay, parkour!
Okay, you're at the window. Now what?
First, I will look through the window and see what is to be seen, if anything.
You see darkness.
Let's see if the window is unlocked.
It is.
Okay, I will try to stealthily enter the building.
Give me dexterity stealth.
And I do get a reroll if that is not enough.
It is quite enough. Would you like to use those stunts for anything?
Let's see what we got here. I got 5. Let's use 4 for ready for action. And and let's use the last one for a +1 bonus for boost on my next turn.
Very good. You're within the warehouse, up in the upper rafters, if you will, the upper storage area. Where there's various boxes and barrels and whatnot. And you can see there's a lower area where more boxes and barrels are.
All right. Any peoples?
Perception, hearing, because it is quite dark.
Maybe
I
that's the
imagine
first
you're
thing
not
you
lighting a
start-
torch to highlight yourself.
Any any light sources coming from anywhere? Let's start there. Actually,
Surprisingly not. There should be at least like a guy with a lantern patrolling around.
and I think we've been found out. Okay, here's perception, hearing. Ah, that's not great.
You're squeaking.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna start creeping through the warehouse, seeing what I can see, kind of staying in the shadows as much as possible, looking for, obviously like big barrels of gunpowder, anything that might be, I don't know, that might raise some red flags.
As you're looking, what is Bianchi doing that night as Borgia is sneaking about the warehouse? Dumas is patrolling around at night with her cuirassiers.
Was I asked to assist?
Yeah, you were gonna start a ruckus in front of the place.
Yes, I was going to take an empty cup with me and start a ruckus outside.
So, what sort of ruckus are you trying to
You describe the
perform?
ruckus, sir.
Yes.
Are there any people outside the warehouse?
No. There's people on the street occasionally walking to and from their house or something, or someone going to and from a warehouse, but like not this one you're at, but it's late at night. Most people are either at the inn or in their homes.
I'm gonna...
Or at the general store, because, place to hang out.
I'm gonna drunkenly stumble into the door. And if it doesn't open, probably accidentally fall through the door, quote unquote.
Give me a strength might test.
I can do those.
Can you though with your dice?
Well, yeah.
I fall into the step in front of the door. Well, thankfully, 12 is enough to collapse into a door, and Borgia, bang! You're allowed bang noise as the door is shoved open, and Dumas, you hear this as a loud bang noise over by the warehouse.
I freeze and kind of see what happens.
I'm just gonna lie on the floor as if I'm a drunk.
The floor is cold and made of wood. Actually, it'd be
Fantastic.
stone works, but anyway. Go on, Dumas, sorry.
I'll hold right here. I think I heard something. Let's hold here for a second. This is not the sounds that I was anticipating.
So Lieutenant, some of the riders kind of pull their horses, calm them down a bit because the loud noise probably startled them briefly. It's like, no, that's all right, it's all right. Some people kind of flex their clubbing arm a bit, kind of working out the kinks just in case something springs off. But they don't seem terribly convinced anything's going to happen. It's more of a, maybe something exciting is going to happen and we get to fight again.
So does no one come to the door?
No.
Okay, I'll stand up, stumble in. Where's my bed? And just start walking through the place.
Give me communication deception.
I'll give you communication.
Certainly will. So Borgia, you notice Bianchi is kind of meandering around because there's the cast of light coming from the door he has opened.
Right.
So you see him stumbling around.
Well, he's at least theoretically providing some visual and auditory cover, so I can keep looking around. I would eventually work my way down to the ground level, and at some point I'm looking for trapdoors, entrances to basements or tunnels or something.
You can give me a perception seeing.
13.
Nothing in particular. You see the regular doors and stuff, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Do I get to use the stunt points?
No.
Okay. Let's spend an action point to add 2 to the roll.
Ooh, that might be enough. 13 into 15. 13 into 15. You are convinced there has to be something. I mean, these old royal warehouses always had little nooks and crannies and stepaways and stuff like that. There has to be something somewhere. You look around somewhere, start moving stuff around, and Bianchi's making more of a ruckus. And then that reminds you a story you heard during the Revolution where some nobles, when they were fleeing from Gallia, those who were in with the royals knew of some of the old escape routes, specifically the one of the nobles that looked over Lysell. And in particular, there is a sort of secret dock that if you go out the back, a little ways, like you look at the back of the warehouse, you notice there's a bit of a rampway that kind of opens up a door that the door looks odd, but if you didn't know to look for it, you wouldn't think anything of it. You think it's just a loading thing of some kind, because not like you work in warehouses. But it is a spot that if you were to have a small boat, you could load a boat inside the warehouse with people or things, and then slam the ramp down, and then slide the boat very quickly toward the water, to which you find.
Okay. Let me see if I can get through that door quietly.
As you do so, the person starts running up to the cuirassiers, starts waving at you vigorously.
I'll ride up to them. What is it?
Someone broke into the old royal warehouse. They just smashed in through the front door. Like, there might be burglars. They're pretending to be drunk, but I know a drunk when I see one. That's no drunk. That guy forced the door open.
What was their number?
Just the one, I think. Maybe others, though. I only saw the one, madame.
Very well. I'll turn in the saddle and say, surround the warehouse. No one in or out. I'm going to give the order to move forward.
Start riding forward. Person looks mighty relieved and kind of moves over to one of the towns to kind of watch what's happening, but they keep their distance. They don't want to be near this. Could be dangerous, but they also don't want to miss it. I don't believe, Dumal, you're making any effort to hide what your guys are doing. Like, they're trying to get there quickly and surround it, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Bianchi and Borja, it's hard to hear the rapid gallop of cuirassiers approaching the warehouse. You have maybe one action to go before they surround the place. Because you hear them long before they get to you.
Well, I'm going to see if I can't get into the secret dock area.
Yeah, you're able to push the... You start to try to push at the door that's there, and you notice that there is... And there is a brief rattle. Like it feels like it's locked, and then you just give it a little extra oomph, and it falls away. And you notice that there is a lock that would be there, but it looks loose. And so the plank comes down, and you can see the ocean.
So do I still get to use the stunt points off of that roll to find the door?
You can use those stunt points, certainly, yeah.
Okay. Then let's do extra information.
And what else?
2 left. And let's do insight.
So you'll get a +1 to a follow-up roll.
Yeah.
Extra information tells you that you may not be a warehouse person, but you've been in here before. Not like recently, but like over your life, you've come in here a couple times since the revolution and during the revolution, likely. After revolution, there was a boat that was here.
Sorry, you cut out there first. I just got you on that was here.
There was a boat that was here.
Okay.
So primarily, most people would have forgotten it as it's just something that's stored here. But now, thinking on it, oh wait, that's probably the old escape boat that someone grabbed and put there, and maybe the mayor's hanging on to it for whatever reason. Or whatever. There's a million and one reasons why you'd want to have a boat near a quick gangway like that. That boat's gone. And it looks like there's lots of boot marks and scuffing around where the boat was. Like very recent bits of mud and dirt. Your follow-up roll is if you want to get out of here before or otherwise bluff your way around the cavalry who are riding up on the warehouse, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, let me get Bianchi's attention, and the two of us make our way out via this hidden place. We'll close the door behind us and hopefully slip the net.
Yeah, I'll stop playing drunk and I'll follow him.
Give me Are you trying to like slip away so they don't see you, or are you just sprinting for it and then dashing yourselves into the water before they can get to you? Like, are you trying to outrun them, or are you trying to disappear?
Tried to disappear.
Dexterity stealth for the both of you. Borgia, you have a bonus because this naturally follows from your investigation.
Okay.
From the previous roll, rather, because you know the escape way to go out that way, out the ramp quickly.
Right.
I'll extend this bonus to Bianchi because Borgia's pointing out a bonus that he found. Like, go this way.
19 total for me.
14.
Brave Cuirassiers, 12.
Hey, you got a bunch of stunts points to use, man.
Yeah.
You could track that boat.
I mean,
I can smell it on the water. I track the farts of our enemies.
That's a unique skill that I'm not sure I'm happy about.
You're surprised how useful it is.
Take your word for
I'm gonna
it.
spend 4 for cover your tracks.
Okay.
I don't know how you'd want to do this. I'd like to spend 2 on impress as a social stunt. So maybe if someone was actually watching this purposefully, they'd be impressed.
You could play it. You could spend that, yeah, on the hopes that there was someone who observed it. So Duma, your curious ears surround the building rapidly, and your sergeant, I believe you're big enough for one. Check though. Sergeant, or I imagine, yeah, among your non-coms, I imagine you have a sergeant and a corporal. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Sergeant kind of rides up alongside you. So, Lieutenant, we have the building surrounded.
Then I'll ride up to the entrance that's open and shout loudly inside.
So, Lieutenant, he reaches out to you real quick. He kind of rides up and kind of touches you on the shoulder.
Yes.
Some of the he looks over at a person who's rode up to him just then and said something to him. He looks back to you. Is that right? Yeah, all right. Someone escaped out the back way. We see boot marks along an old some sort of plank on the back.
All right, I'll go look at that. Reed, stay here at the entrance. Read them, whoever's inside, the riot act, and if no one comes out after a few moments, turn out the entire building. Look at every crate. We're not going to tolerate thieves on the waterfront. Inspect every inch. And then I'll run off.
You ride off, and you hear your sergeant barking orders, and they're mobilizing on the warehouse. Without any guards and no real locks to speak of, it is easily detained, as it were, and secured. You ride out the back. One of the guys who was out there points out where it was. It goes that way, and they point out that it heads off to the east.
I'll follow on.
As Bianchi and Borgia are slipping away, you notice that Dumas is on horseback riding in your direction.
Do we wish to go into the water?
We can't put Isabel in the position of having to explain why we're here, so we should try and avoid being noticed at all.
Yes, I'm going to dive within the water.
Dex stealth for each of you, opposed by Dumas' perception C.
Could I do Constitution swimming?
You could, but you would be less concerned about being unseen and more... Oh, you could dive, I suppose. Yeah, no, I'll take Constitution swimming, yeah.
Could I use my scouting talent for a reroll?
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, I wish I had rerolls.
Aha! Woo!
I need perception seeing from Dumas.
Smoke bomb!
I got away.
You hear some splashes of water, and the trail ends with the tracks going into the water. Unless you wish to re-roll that. You can try to make this. That's up to you.
I mean, you have a good assumption it's the two of us.
I don't think I do it all, though. Because I'm expecting to find people.
Like enemy agents who are trying to escape.
And they didn't say anything about split tracks going two different ways.
Nope.
And this role would be to try to do what? Because from what you've told me, right, it's a reasonable assumption that people jumped in the water.
Mm-hmm. This is to see if you could either continue tracking them, or you may have seen the people as they were Well, actually, this is a roll to see if they got away from you. Basically, this is you riding after the trail and possibly spotting people who are about to go into the water. So you're changing the outcome of you just find tracks that go into water to you see who it is who's going into the water.
No, I don't want to re-roll. I don't want to try to see who it is. I would rather fail forward, right?
I follow you.
Assume that someone is in the water. Now, where would they come out? Right? They're not going to swim out to sea.
One hopes anyway. They don't have a boat hidden out there somewhere, but yeah. One normally would come back to shore eventually.
Where would be a likely place for that?
Well, I turn around to Bianchi and Borgia, who are hiding in the water. Where are you guys going? You're in the water. You managed to evade Dumas before she could catch up to you.
I think the best place to come in would be, someplace with a dock or pier that we could, come up from under, kind of thing.
So like under the dock there.
Yeah, or the general stores. It looks like it has some sort of dock or overhang there.
Yeah, it has a little bit of one, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere where we can kind of come up and still have cover from observation from.
So I'll note to you that if you approach any of the docks here, there are guards that are up in these towers.
Right.
So they'll roll automatically for anyone trying to sneak up on the dock. General store will have people who are there watching the store who might see you.
Mm-hmm.
The other alternative is going out of town to like some person's personal fishing hut or something.
This is the ocean, right? Not the.
Yeah, this is the ocean.
Okay.
So if you go straight out, you're going out into the bay.
Right. I was just also thinking about currents, but yeah, maybe our best bet is to. Yeah, our best bet is to go out of town.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
But the flip side is if we can get up in town, we can lose ourselves, potentially among the people walking around. At least till we get far enough away where we can be like, oh no, it's us. We were with the militia,
I'll follow your lead.
All right. That's a terrible idea, but okay. Yeah, I'm going to say we go for the general store docks.
Give me Constitution swimming or intelligence natural lore. You're trying to out clever or outswim your pursuers.
What about dexterity stealth?
It won't much matter if your stealth won't matter
fair
if they manage to guess where you're coming out.
Yeah, swing and a miss. Yeah. 13.
I will ask Dumas either for intelligence, natural lore, or sailing lore. I believe there's like a sailing one. Or perception seeing I would take as well. Hearing. Either way. So perception or intelligence. To kind of puzzle out, okay, where would someone come out? With a certain presumption that they're probably trying to evade you, a person on horseback.
Can I rephrase slightly?
You can.
Where would someone come out if they wanted to safely get to a Stormhelm property?
In that case, it's a intelligence roll. It's not against them. That's just you puzzling out how that would happen. You would definitely try to either go to the general store or to the most likely is going to the general store because there's revolutionaries there and they're more friendly with the Stornhelms than say the Docklanders are. Docklanders, you have to worry about the militia and the guard, and people are on edge right now. That's not a great place to go. General store is a nice place to go. The alternative, if you don't think the general store is a good idea, would be to go to a little dock out of town. But the problem with that idea is now you're on the opposite end of town. And now you have to sneak through town back to the Stornhelm house. Whereas you get into the general store, you can blend in with people who are already there and then just walk through. Like someone coming from out of a fishing thing along the road is kind of odd. People would notice that. But if someone's coming out of the general store, that's not as weird.
All right. I guess this is exploration.
Yep.
Swiftness and wariness.
Okay, where are you heading?
To
I'll be cutting over to McNeil here in a bit. Just so you know, McNeil.
I'm going to go the opposite way because I have integrated myself with the revolutionaries, and if these people do come up at the general store, I can ask tomorrow about who was here. So even if they manage to blend in, right? Even if no one sees them walking out of the water, they might just right? The people here don't know they're supposed to keep a secret, right? So they just might mention that, oh, I saw this person there last night.
Yeah.
They dropped in later at night. So I'm going to count on being able to get that information later. So I'm going to try to go to the other place. That way there's a small chance I might be able to figure out who they are no matter where they went.
You ride off outside of town. McNeil.
Yeah.
What's your going to bed routine? Are you a nightcap person? Are you a reader? Are you a night constitution type person? What are you doing?
That depends. Is it a nice night outside?
I'd say so. It's a pretty clear night. Great night for swimming, I hear.
I'll spend it on my porch. I wouldn't undress yet. I only undressed before I went to bed, but I'd spend it on my porch in my rocking chair, another glass of wine, and a bit of cheese at my side, maybe reading some scrolls or manifests or something like that.
Gerard finds you that night, refreshes your drink.
Thank you.
Well, the girls and boys I sent out to them have come back unmolested, thankfully. So.
Good. So all the letters have been delivered?
That is what they tell me, but we will know the truth of it in the morning.
Where the hell are they even? Have they told you where they went? To their houses or somewhere else?
They said it was hand delivered to each of them before they went on their way. So, but they say that. But he shrugs. I've learned that in Gallia, not everything people tell you is exactly how it seems.
Yes, these damn dastardly galleons can often be two-sided, can't they? Like coins. Sometimes they smile at you, and sometimes they don't.
I'd rather a bit of good old Tin Islander deception. I'll lie to you, I'll sock you in the face first.
Yes. I'll chuckle along with him. Yes, I do miss it sometimes, you know. Any news from the militia garrison?
They mobilized their cuirassiers for night patrol along the docks.
They what?
Under Sous Lieutenant the Revolutionary, whatever.
Dumas? That's the one. I kind of swirl my glass of wine around. Do you think it'd be prudent of me to go check on them? What, being their commanding officer and all?
Well, it serves as a decent constitutional, I suppose.
Get my uniform ready.
He nods. And very quickly presents your... And actually, you find that your uniform is already pressed and ready to go.
I'll get changed while mumbling to myself, blasted revolutionaries can't even get a night's rest. Send them all to hell. And I'll say, Jared, keep an eye on the house. Don't let any strangers in. I'll be back before sunrise. I'll head over to the docks.
In time, you will find that they are not at the docks. And then you notice that there is a bit of a commotion and some people looking over at the warehouse and very slowly start making their way over there. And find that the Royal Warehouse has been occupied by the cuirassiers under the charge. And you notice that they're moving stuff out and milling things around, which is why people are watching what the militia are doing, because they're a little puzzled, like what's going on. But no one's getting anywhere near militia with clubs and horse. Like, no, they're doing something, but it does draw some attention. Sergeant
I'll go over to a nearby sergeant or someone who I see is ranked. He's like, you, what is going on here?
Oh no, there's a Sous Lieutenant Dumas, Lieutenant. We heard there was a burglar that broke into this warehouse, and we came to inspect if anything's been stolen or if anyone's hiding in there. Haven't seen anything yet. There was some footprints, but the Sous Lieutenant went in pursuit. I saw her heading... Where was she heading? She was heading east then west? Yeah, she went... So she went toward the general store, and then she turned around and came back the other way. Probably checking for people jumping in the water, sir.
Lend me your horse, Sergeant.
Sir?
I'll mount up and go after Isabel.
Borgia and Bianchi, you come out of the water, to the blinking surprise of some people enjoying a nice bit of wine to cap off their night, and a bit of coffee between a couple other people, because coffee is expensive. They kind of peer at you guys coming out of the water like, the hell? They see... Are you guys in uniform?
No.
No, I'm not.
They stand up and go, who the devil are you? And they seem very agitated.
Borgia shrugs and goes and says, who knew the beautiful sister's father had a blunderbuss?
Communication deception.
God damn.
Well then.
I'm short by 10.
Go to hell. I can't roll for shit, and you guys are doing it non-stop.
Do you have any penalties, like -10 to revolutionaries or something?
No, actually, I have, I think, +2 to revolutionaries.
Yeah. Although you are trying to hide it to you, I suppose. Or maybe not. But still, either way, you don't have -10 or 11 to your roll. So,
right.
Yeah, no, they totally buy what you're saying. And they have a good laugh about that. And, oh, well, you know. Next time, bring a boat. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, right. Let's see if I've got 6 friggin' stomp points.
Might suggest pay attention.
Also, note that your friend is not has yet to roll his way out of this. He has his own. He has his own problem currently. So you might want to keep that in mind for your stunts.
I was trying to cover for both by saying sisters, the beautiful sisters.
I'll actually use that. I'll extend crowd appeal to do that. So if you spend 2 stun points, that'll cover him as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll spend 2 for crowd appeal.
Different way of using it, everybody, but it works for what we're doing.
Yep. I don't know that I can leverage pay attention because, well,
it's beyond what you were looking for, right?
If there's something to be seen,
Right.
I might say there's something to be seen.
yeah. Yeah, let's do 3 for like pay attention. Maybe somebody's talking about a boat that came down the river or something. And I'll spend 1 for impress because some fool in there is going to be impressed by the guy he and his friend who jumped out of the farmer's window and swam their way to the general store.
Seriously, the two of you, like, such a silly thing. You know, and by the way, if you are gonna try to, you're lucky that your farmer friend doesn't work for somebody important, because they might be here enjoying themselves a coffee. If you want to sneak around, you want to go the other way to the old Mariard fishery.
Could you
Well,
put
less
that
eyes
in
on
the
them.
Could you put that in the chat?
Probably misspelling that, I don't want to say, but yeah. Phonetically, that's what I'm saying.
Does Diego know where and what he's talking about?
You're too high class to know what that is.
Okay.
Could you tell us where it is so next time we know where to go?
Well, you're the one tumbling with farmers. Ah ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you know? Well, they don't know fishers. Ah ha 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 ha. Give me a communication check to get these people to stop having their fun and answer your damn question. Otherwise, they're going to waste your time telling jokes, because they are just hanging around, getting drunk, or enjoying coffee way too late at night.
Would you take leadership in the fact that I'll be joking with them?
I would take something else other than leadership, because you're not a revolutionary. You're not one of them.
I do have 2 pluses for revolutionary, though.
You could use that bonus, yeah. Because you may understand the revolutionary spirit a bit.
Fuck.
Thankfully, though, it's not that hard to get them to stop. They go, all right, sorry. Yeah, it's just over out west. Quick little horse ride out, actually.
That's good to know for next time.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I may have stuck my sausage in that particular grinder for the last time.
So on that note, Dumas, you come upon a fishery. Well, what used to be a fishery anyway. And fishery is a strong word. It's more like a small hut with a little dock. And, there's a boat there. That's weird. You don't remember anyone fishing out here? Then again, you're not lower class, so you don't really check out the old fisheries along this far out. But, yeah, there's a boat here.
Looking at this building, how do I think I should enter it if I wanted to get surprise on anyone inside? Cough, cough. I'm trying to make engineering useful to me.
I'll take give me an engineering roll. I see what, okay. Good golly, Miss Molly, what's with all these rolls?
I definitely spent the first half of this game not getting those, so I think it's my just due.
See, it works out. Everyone's just taking my rolls.
You find that the best way, I mean, it's such a small property, it's kind of hard to sneak up on any part of it, because, turn your head. But if you were to do so, you'd either, well, you wouldn't want to swim up on it because it's meant to be easy to see. There's a window you could probably sneak up to and come through that way. That's probably the best way to get into the building without, because that'd be a way people wouldn't normally come in. Like, there's 2 doors. There's the door going out to the dock, and there's one going out into, like, the street. The road. But the window, one of the 2 smaller windows, not the one facing the road, but the one facing along the water toward the east, that's probably the best way to come in, because that'd be, people wouldn't be looking there unless it was morning. And it's still the dead of night by the time you arrive.
All right, I want to get the drop and make sure that these rapscallions are caught, so I'm going to go with swiftness again.
Okay.
To kind of preempt, hopefully, anyone having time to think about what's going on.
Yeah, you very quickly get up to the window. Are you trying to sneak in any way, or are you just trying to be fast?
I'm more so trying to be fast. I want to catch them out. I don't necessarily need to sneak up on them because I'm not really that great at it. So I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to like try that approach.
I get you.
I'm more likely to succeed if I just go for it.
Do you have a horsemanship sort of skill or anything like that? Or focus, I should say?
No, because galleons don't get one.
I'm trying to think which one it is. Like, what
it's
attribute?
It goes under Constitution.
Oh.
No, it goes under Dexterity.
Oh, does it? Oh.
Dexterity. Yeah.
Dexterity.
Dexterity, horsemanship.
Oh. We're okay. Dexterity, horsemanship, then. Hey, McNeil, while we're at it, could you give me Constitution tolerance to see if your constant drinking has slowed your riding at all?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You try to ride as quickly as you can, and then it's riding really fast on a horse gave you a really... You need to... You slow down a little bit to just like, nope, you're on a horse. Thankfully, you're not running, so...
Yeah, we'll do it at a leisurely pace. It's okay.
Yeah. But Dumas, you race up to the window. Get up to the horse. You jump off the horse. You get up to the window. You look in, and you see darkness.
All right. Is there a door here, or is my only way through the window?
If you want to get the drop on somebody, be through the window. But there's 2. You know, there's 2 other doors. There's one facing the water and one facing west.
And this is supposed to be abandoned?
It looks abandoned, yeah.
Then I'll smash the window and jump inside.
Smash? What do you smash it with? Out of curiosity.
The butt of the saber.
McNeil, perception, hearing.
I'm sure. Easy one, I guess.
Probably. I'll give you a -1 because you are a bit sauced. But 13 probably still hears it. It's not the quietest thing in the world. Smashing a window. Quieter than you think, but not that quiet. Yeah, you hear the smashing of glass.
Yeah, I'll go over there.
Dumas, you climb through the window, I presume? Or pounce through the window? Because it's not that high off the ground, really.
Yes, I climbed through the window.
In the moonlight, you can see McNeil trotting as quickly as he dares toward your position, but you're kind of in the building before he gets there.
There's no one else in here?
You look around in the darkness, perception, seeing. Not that you can see.
Reroll that.
Okay. Where's that 20 roll you had earlier? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, am I allowed to double up?
Mm-hmm. Go on and spend it. You just have to take the latest roll. This dice roller does not appreciate rerolls, apparently. I'm just seeing we're doing something dramatic here. No. Yeah, you look around. You can see McNeil just fine. The moonlight's casting in. If there's anyone in it, the most I can say to you, even with a fail, is that this place is a mess. And it looks like, beyond the glass you just smashed in, the place is a bit of a mess, but you don't see anyone inside the hut or out in the dock.
All right. Do I have instead of buying a bunch of small things, you let me take a soldiering kit? Does it have something I could use as a torch in it?
I would say so, yeah. You'd have a lantern or a torch of some kind to do your job.
Then I
Yeah, I
would
think
light it and take a look, an in detail look around.
By this point, McNeil, you've caught up to the house.
Okay.
And you see
do
a torchlight light up inside, and you can see one of the a garrison horse is a strong word because they're all like farmer horses and stuff. Like they're horses.
This is not one of those though.
Oh, it's your nice horse.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's Dumas' horse. Because Dumas has one of the nicer horses in the garrison.
So, Lieutenant, are you in there?
Come on in.
Crunch of glass under boot as she's moving around.
I'll come on in. I'll just try to avoid the glass with my nice soft boots.
Well, you're able to come in through like one of the doors, and yeah.
Would you mind explaining to me why you're out here in the middle of the night, not only seizing royal property, but you're also smashing windows and, if I may add, ignoring polite requests of mine not to stir up any trouble? Why?
I'm not sure what you mean, sir.
What I
was
mean is
following
that we
the-
shouldn't have played our hand too early like we did now. Why are you here?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not sure what you mean. I was following the orders of the captain on patrol when a concerned citizen told me that someone had broken into the old warehouse.
Is she lying to me?
No,
Nope.
I didn't say anything that was a lie.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking, like, would Cormac, because he doesn't know that these two have also been in there, so I'm like...
Hell, she barely knows.
Hey, would you lie
She
to me?
can suspect as much as
I don't
you
even
do
know.
that you both can suspect that maybe Borgia or Bianchi went in there, but they might not have. This may be other actors for all you two know, because you don't know that those two have acted yet, because no one found out for sure it was them.
All
because
right.
we're sneaky bastards.
So there, you might sense at most that Dumas might suspect as much as you, but you can see a definite look of no, I'm not trying to bullcrap. There's no deception in her voice, you can tell.
All right. Well, that's fine then, if it's the captain's orders. Now that you're here, though, find anything of use?
Perception seeing.
Just started looking.
Let's see if we can help you out.
You can do a perception one as well, yeah, because there's light and stuff.
You got them 4 stump points, though.
You have to succeed. 9 does not see what you're looking for. You see that this place is a mess and has been a mess, and you get the feeling that people kind of...
Oh wait, what about my 11 though? Does that succeed?
No.
No.
But you might have a reroll in your future there, McNeil, if you have any points left. You have 1 point left, I believe.
I gave it to Bianchi, didn't I?
You get 2.
Do we have 2?
You get
Yeah,
2
you do.
each episode, yeah.
Screw it. What else am I gonna spend it on? Let's go. Worse. Aha! The curse of Bianchi strikes again.
Yeah, the two of you see this place is a mess, and you get the feeling that young hooligans come here sometimes to mess about and get you trip over bottles and other stuff. Like, this place hasn't been a fishery since the Revolution for years, and it's plain to see. The only improvement you might have done is remove some of the dust off the window by virtue of breaking the window. Though plain to see, like, even with those rolls, like, even at the failed roll, the boat's new. Like it's not brand new, but it's newer than the fishery is.
Yeah.
Like, it was kept somewhere, and it's tied off on one of the old ropes. But that boat doesn't belong to this building. This building's way too in too much disrepair.
I'll go inspect the boat then.
You see a boat. Rowboat, pretty big, sitting in the water, tied up with old rope that probably didn't come with the boat. It came with the dock.
Is it big enough to put any cargo in, or is it just like big enough for like 2 or 3 people to
You
go
could put some
fishing?
cargo in there. It's not huge, like it's not a barge or anything, but it's big enough you could move cargo around in it.
Any sign of what kind of cargo, like fish that have spilled out or spices that have leaked from their crate?
Intelligence or perception? Whatever it is, it was heavy. You can see that the boat looks, it's not brand new, but it is kind of old. Hasn't been used a ton, so it looks like it was strained a bit. But it's hard to tell precisely what it was.
And it's tied to a dock?
It is now, yeah.
Not against the shore?
No. Someone pulled it up to the dock and then grabbed the rope to tie it off to hold it in place. Likely, and that's the other hint as well, is that if it's something really heavy, you'd want to... Yeah.
I'd yell at McNeil not to move. Then I walk to the other end. How many doors does this place have?
2.
One to the dock and one out the front to the road?
One out to the west, so it goes... Like, there's a window facing toward the road and one facing to the east.
Not window, door.
Yeah, but there's a door to the west and a door to the south, essentially.
But one of them leads out to the dock, or...
Yeah, the one south is toward the dock. The one west kind of is... There's like a little path where you'd go out west a little bit and then head north to the road.
Okay, I'll go to the one that heads towards the road and ask McNeil how he walked from his horse, and then check for tracks that don't line up with his story.
I can try and like carefully retrace my steps, like, okay, I came in here like this, on this path.
Perception, seeing or tracking, I suppose. Or intelligence, natural lore.
Focus on seeing.
Is this...
Can I try intelligence with a focus in evaluation?
No.
No, God.
Worth asking, though. That's worth asking. Sometimes that may apply.
Did you say I could try intelligence, though? Or?
You can use intelligence, yeah, because it falls under natural lore, like knowing how the land should look and what makes sense. Between the two of you, there are some more recent tracks that don't line up with the two of you. Someone or a number of persons were here next to a wagon of some kind that went somewhere. It's hard to see. The ground's really marred up. Almost intentionally so. But you can tell wagon wheels. That's hard to hide. Especially with the minimal amount of time they likely had.
Do the wagon wheels largely stick to a road, or...
It's hard to tell. It either was on the... because it's so marred up, there was wagon wheels, but it could be going... It's kind of being mixed up with other tracks that go along this road. But it was on the road initially. Like, it must have... Because it went from... Because you can see the most recent... There's some sign of wagon wheels. So it had to be here for some amount of time. But whether it stayed on the road or rode off, it's hard to tell. Like, to differentiate from other wagon wheels that come and go along this road.
I'll go into the field a bit on the other side of the road and see if there's any tracks in the field to eliminate the possibility that the wagon came from somewhere other than along the road.
As you do that, Borgia and Bianchi, what are you up to as you're enjoying the company of revolutionaries? And just regular people who are enjoying a place to drink that is and socialize that isn't the inn.
Having a cup of fucking coffee. And just chatting, and while I'm here talking to all these people, I might as well see what kind of news and information and, kind of follow up on on the leads I've already gathered in the conversation, and just kind of, overhearing stuff, see what I can glean from this. I do have, scroll on here. I have +2 with revolutionaries, +1 with common citizens, and +2 with the bourgeoisie.
Which group do you wish to bend the ear of with your communication?
Let's try revolutionaries. This seems to be their primary hangout.
Communication persuasion. See if anyone's willing to tell you anything.
Add +2 to this. 17.
The general chatter is that, people are kind of excited to see the Emperor soon. And, good old homeboy hero sort of talk. And you get a retread of what Dumas learned yesterday from them. But in general, it's one of those, they think it's a sad thing that that with this marriage, the revolution is between Gallia and Almania will be curtailed, because now, it's whether he means to, either this is a really good thing and Eleron is subverting the imperial throne of Almania through the princess in some manner, like revolution by other means, I guess. But really, they don't think that's the case. They think Eleron's kind of looking out for himself a bit and being a pragmatist. So they're not really hopeful that this will hurt the revolution, they think, in the setting, in the continent. So most of the hope is trying to push that keep the revolutionary spirit high in the 10 Islands and elsewhere, to kind of spread out that way and maybe turn it around. But they're not like heartbroken about it. It's more of a, yeah, well, the revolutionary days didn't go as well as we liked. Talk and talk and talk. You're not getting a lot of heat from these people. It's more of a disappointment. It's more of a, oh well, we have to take a different tack. We have to try other means to achieve the goals of the revolution.
Right. Well, and depending on what Bianchi is wanting to do after sitting and chatting whatever for a while, Diego's gonna head home to dry his guns and get on dry clothes.
Yeah, I'll probably be heading back because I need to dry off, and I've got night runs with the garrison.
So, two of you return home, more or less.
I would have told Borgia as we were walking back, like after we got out of the general store and no one's immediately around us. I managed to go to Stormhelm today.
Meet anybody interesting?
There was someone looking after the home. There's essentially a dead end.
Fair enough.
I don't know if any the other two have found anything, but yeah, it seems the Stormhelms just there's no point of looking at them, unfortunately.
Fair enough. I was hoping there might be some assistance from that quarter, though.
Me too. But no, not this time. I say maybe next time, but I kind of hope there isn't a next time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the warehouse was a bust, but I don't know, I think somebody was there. I have no idea how to track a boat, though. Well, that launch might be a place to start, but what time of night is it, GM? I mean, I'm assuming it's not terribly late since the revolutionaries are still hanging out and drinking coffee. And
by the time you got all the way out there, they were starting to wrap up for the night. They were getting kind of tired.
Okay.
It's approaching middle of the night, pretty late. You just happened to catch them as they were still doing stuff. It's like that's why they were so alarmed. It's like, who swims up on the general store dock at this hour?
Fair enough. So yeah, I think I want to call it a night then.
Back to the investigation afield. Give me perception, seeing, or tracking as you look out in the field. You see the tall grasses and the pretty flowers wafting in the wind, but you see no trail. You were saying, McNeil? Sorry.
Sorry, I was asking if it was both of us or just Isabel.
You could roll as well. I don't imagine Damas keeping the secret what she's looking for.
No.
Oh, there you go.
You find no trail yourself, McNeil.
So is that a fail?
That is a fail.
Alrighty. Sue Lieutenant, there's nothing here. Do you think we should wrap up for tonight?
No, they're here. We just can't find them.
Sue Lieutenant, I understand. Do I have like a... I think I should have a pocket watch or something. I think I told you about that, right?
If you're planning on returning, would you mind directing the cavalry to meet me here?
Yes, very well. Just be mindful. You have until 3 in the morning to get your affairs sorted here, and then I want you back in your home, asleep. No more disturbances, all right?
Hi, Lieutenant.
Good. I'll head off. And when I walk out, I'll say, Sergeant, the Sioux Lieutenant is asking for you to convene at her location.
Lieutenant, all right, everyone, a horse now! And everyone starts rushing out. And
do keep it quiet, will you? It's late at night.
They peer at you, puzzled. Sir.
No shouting, Sergeant.
Be quiet out there, I'm trying to sleep, someone yells from across the street.
Shut up, you peasant! Bloody hell. Right, I'll head over home.
Oh, it's late at night, he says, and they get a horse. But yeah, they wrap. The horsemen, delayed briefly, eventually catch up to you, Dema.
All right. There's 10 of them.
Yep.
I break them up into 5 pairs.
Mm-hmm.
2 pairs to travel each direction of the road. Do I know of any branches in the nearby road, or is it pretty straight from Lysell?
There's some side branches, like pathways and stuff to old houses and farmlets and so on. Not a ton, though. There'd be some, though. More trails than anything. The dedicated road's the main drag. Like, the main congregation of people's here, but there are, like, little side roads and stuff. Side paths. Road's a strong word. It's not a labyrinth by any means, because you're on a peninsula that's mostly fields and some forests and such.
All right. One to check the because I don't expect, if the wagons made it to Lysell, then that'll be an investigation for later. So I'll send one to check on the farm, the roads to the farms and outbuildings that are near town.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send one. Actually, I'll send the rest of them down the road with occasionally one of them, as they come to a road, right, they'll split off and send 2 down this road and then keep going and split 2 off this road. And I'll head on a down this field a ways and see if I find any roads or trails behind it.
Intelligence military lore. Or natural lore. Either would work, really. But intelligence either way. Because you're directing your troops and doing stuff. Searching about and trailing around, we find neither hide nor hair of this wagon. Your sergeant comes to you and says, Lieutenant, if we're gonna... What are we looking for out here? You seem really agitated.
A wagon of black powder.
He stares at you and just, oh, right. He adjusts his hat. He sits up in his saddle a bit and kind of adjusts. Well, how does one move a wagon that big without us seeing it? If they came through town, we would have seen it coming along the road. I think our only bet right now, while the men and women are still ready to ride with any speed, we take a guess. We either ride as fast and as hard as we can down the road, or we ride as far and fast as we can out the field and try to sweep out whatever it is. We guess right, we might catch up to them. Wagon can't move that fast. At least it shouldn't without attracting attention. Eventually, we must find something. But whatever we do, that will have to be our best guess, because at some point we'll have to ride and not find what we find. But there's only 2 ways it could have gone. They can't have gone straight back on the road. I can't. Between the 10 of us plus the lieutenant plus you, there's too many people that would have seen a wagon full of barrels, especially with all the commotion around the warehouse. And I doubt they went back to water, because where else? It's not like they have a boat to take it out to.
They came by boat.
Well, if they came by boat, why wouldn't they just leave by boat, I would suppose? Right? Unless they dropped it off somewhere out to sea, but I don't see any boats on the water, or any ships on the water, or whatever sailors call it.
Well, why would they come here if they were... Why would they stop here if they had taken it out to sea?
Escape, maybe? Spread out to field, try to pull us away. But again, I mean, you'd think someone in the Navy would see a ship prowling around on the water. Yeah, it's not like we have a proper naval installation out here, beyond the cannons, I mean. That's my only guess. The only reason they would take a boat but not bring whatever they had with them here is to scatter. It's just to get rid of people and pull us away from whatever it is they're trying to move. But that's a lot of moving parts.
His suggestion... So I was thinking they brought the gunpowder on the boat and then transferred it to the wagon. He's suggesting it's the other way around.
Well, he thinks one of 2 things. He thinks most likely, following you, is that they brought it on the boat, brought it here, loaded it somewhere on a wagon, and then they went either straight north or straight west. And it's just a matter of chasing after them. The only other way is if they took it on boat, and while the boat was at sea, it dropped it off on a ship, and then it then had people still on the boat come to shore, and then scattered to try to throw people off. Though he doesn't think that's likely, because he thinks that's if it's just a bunch of brigands and thieves or whatever, then, why would that involves having a ship and everything,
Why would there have been a wagon here then?
As a baffle. load people on, or a way to confuse trackers, voltagiers, that sort of thing. But again, that's so convoluted to him. He doesn't think that's likely, but that's it's the only thing he can think of that would make sense.
The princess's ship is definitely far out to sea, right? It's way too far for a small boat because they're not expected here for a couple of days.
Yeah, they're not expected for another 3 days by ship.
So
they're both arriving roughly around the same time.
Tens of, maybe hundreds of miles offshore still.
Yeah. Which why I didn't even bring up her boat, because like, no, there's no way it's her. Starts and adjust themselves in their saddle and looks around at the people assembled.
If they were on a ship at sea, right, this ship would have to be sailing close to shore with no lights lit.
Yeah, because that's the whole. And you'd have to stay away from the docks proper, because that's the whole point of those towers, is to watch for ships prowling around near Lysell.
Yeah. Taking a boat out into the sea at night, trying to get to a place that's not lit, is nigh impossible. Right, you have a compass, but things move on the ocean, and
be a mean bit of sailing to do it. You'd have to be a master sailor to have any hope of doing it, and even then, one bad current and you're stuck out in the water. With a barrel or barrel or two of gunpowder. That is not a thing you want to be caught swimming around with,
I'll ask around. Do any of you fishermen by trade or in a previous life?
No. I'm a farmer. I'm a this. People say different professions, but none of them are fishermen. Sergeant looks over at you. I work on the dock sometimes, but I've never been on a ship or ship before. Boat, a little bit, but wouldn't call myself a sailor or nothing, or a fisher.
If you work on the docks, have you ever heard of a cove or a place people might go if they were smuggling to sit just offshore?
Wow.
There's Molly's Cove. It's not really a smuggling spot, I guess, but it's a place where, when two people want to have a secret getaway and don't want anyone to find them, and a bit of unchurchly fun, well, it's a nice cove to go to. But if I were to smuggle something and hide away from ships, that's where I'd go.
Can you get there by land?
You can, yeah. It's easier to get there by boat, but you can. There's a bit of a rock formation that kind of makes it hard to get through. But if you're willing to climb over some rocks, you can do it.
Yeah. Do you fancy your chances sailing a small boat at night without light?
Into the cove? If you know the cove, yeah. It's.
But do you know the cove?
Well, he adjusts his hat and kind of leans in a little close. Well, yeah, once or twice. But, don't want to say it around the men,
Sergeant, I have a suspicion that these men would love nothing more than to know that.
Please, Lieutenant. I'd rather you didn't.
How many people could all of the curiosity get in that boat? It was big boat, right? It was a pretty big boat.
Hard press, you could put 6 people. Less people would be more comfortable.
All right. Yeah, I'll say the first attachment's with me, Corporal. You take the other 4. Actually, the Corporal and 1 man are to ride and find Diego and tell him of everything. The other 2 are to catch Cormac along the road and return him.
Intelligence military lore. The devil. Well, you give your orders and people start mobilizing, get ready to go. Getting the horses settled and getting everything figured out. And as time wanes on, you notice that it is the moon has crossed the top of the sky and it's starting to drop. Not literally super fast. I mean, like, it's past midnight is what I'm hinting at. Sorry.
Oh no, the apocalypse.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the 6 of us are headed straight for the boat. I guess I don't know, right, if these other guys, they're going to carry out what they were supposed to do, but the other 6 of us, right, are headed for the boat to go to the cove.
The following morning, McNeil. Having a nice morning?
No, a hangover.
Hangover? Having a bit of hair of the dog that bit you, or having a tea like a sensible person?
Lemon juice. I
Yeah.
heard that's what the Galleons do to cure a hangover.
You hear a loud rap, rap, rap at the front door. Gerard kind of bows his head in apology, like he wish he caught it sooner, and he very quickly goes off to see whoever that is.
I'll lower myself as well, like to see who it is at the door.
You find yourself in the presence of a man in a smart and sharp uniform. Saber on one hip, pistol on the other. Intelligence military lore.
You could just say straight up intelligence. Yeah, there you go. 12.
Yeah, you're able to puzzle. Actually, especially given your previous profession, you recognize him as a member of the Secret Dewa.
Oh, the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Does he have any titles? As in, do I refer to him as Mr. or something else?
Mr. or Sir, something like that. Like, he is an officer of the Crown, essentially.
I'll wave Jared off. Thank you. Mr. Riverwind, to what do I owe it this morning's pleasure?
My Lord McNeil, it's been some time since we crossed paths. Not since that salon in Lumerberg.
Would you please come in?
Of course.
Can I offer you something? Some cheese, a bit of wine?
I'll have a bit of cheese, sure.
And please leave your weapons by the door, if you will.
I shall not disarm myself, my lord. I am in service of the Crown and on Crown business.
Ah, I see. On official business, then.
Yes.
Very well. Jared, could you bring the man some cheese, please?
Nods and disappears and very rapidly comes back with some cheese.
Have a seat, please.
He takes a seat.
My god, all these things rhyme, don't they?
He has a
Just
nibble of
so,
cheese.
let's cut straight to the point then. The Crown has business with me. What is it?
It was seen last night that there's a bit of a burglary at the old warehouse.
So my Sioux lieutenant informed me.
Well, there were certain materials that were being held for the Stornhelms in preparation of the Emperor's visit. I wanted to inspect with you and the appropriate officers to ensure their property was not stolen.
I'll take a sip of my lemon juice, make a grimace because it's also sour. What sort of property are we exactly talking about? Could you please illuminate me, as yesterday was a very hectic evening.
Some special papers, documentation, fine wines, and such marital gifts, you see.
And I assume you have a manifest for all these things.
He pulls out from his jacket rather rapidly and pulls out a folded bit of paper.
I'll give it a glance. Does it seem legitimate?
Evaluation.
So just intelligence, huh? Oh, actually, no, evaluation. Yeah, okay, I got that, actually, yeah.
I'm going to penalize myself. I don't want to use it now.
And 3 stun points if that succeeded.
Those 3 stun points tumble in the wind as this looks perfectly fine.
All right. Hand a copy over. Did you already go speak to the captain?
Well, there are, as you may see in the list, there are certain unmentionables that are meant for the soon-to-be Empress, and I wanted to evade the gossip of the rank and file and farmers, and see that this was a matter handled by gentlefolk rather than the entirety of the garrison. If I go to the captain, every secretary on the way in is going to know that I asked. But if I come here, I'm just in town asking after a servant of the Empire.
I'll raise an eyebrow. Well, Mr. Riverwind, surely you understand that Captain Leclerc is my official in these sort of things, and that subverting him is a bad idea.
Well, it is up to you whether or not you wish to impress upon yourself to the Stornhelms your ability to have discretion, or to air the fact that the militia failed to prevent their things from being stolen. Since your people were supposed to be keeping us safe, and now I hear that there's things being... Now, if there's nothing stolen, then go ahead. Report all you like, and I'm wasting my time. But if I'm right, and their things are stolen, then this becomes a bit of a scandal that neither you nor I really want to suffer. I don't think Leclerc wants to either, but it's not him or you that I distrust. It's the people at his desk. And I don't think you know Leclerc well enough to visit him upon his home. Besides which, I swear the man sleeps in his garrison the whole time. Otherwise, I would have spoken with him and not bothered you. But then again, you are a diplomat, so I imagine you may have a bit more... diplomacy than a militarist might.
I'll go over to my window and look out at my orchard. Is that your professional opinion then, Mr. Riverwind? That the people at Leclerc's garrison and disposal are not to be trusted? Your official opinion as a... What is your official title? Spy?
Officer of His Imperial Majesty.
Of course. Officer of His Imperial Majesty, long may he reign. Is that your professional opinion?
They are staffed by militiamen. And
is your only concern that the militiamen gossip about the Empress's undergarments? Or perhaps is there something more to this suspicion than you are letting on?
Communication persuasion.
I have etiquette. Will that do?
Yep, there's a way to ask Riverwind so he doesn't...
Here's a 19.
Thinking. One moment.
DM spending threat.
No. 27. Well, my concern is that certain papers are of imperial importance, hence my presence.
So it's not the Empress's undergarments after all.
I mean, that wouldn't look too good either. She will likely be offended by us airing them out, but that's a minor scandal. If the papers I'm looking for are aired out, then certain friends of friends will likely use this as a way to besmirch the imperial crown.
Oh, no, I don't suppose there's a way you could tell me about these papers, is there?
Help me find them or assure me they're found, and I'll certainly tell you that if they're lost, the less you know, the better off we both are.
I hope you enjoyed your cheese, Mr. Riverwind. I'll have something delivered to you by this afternoon. If you will, please. And I'll look at the door very courteously.
Thank you for your time, Lieutenant. Mr. Gerard? And Riverwind takes his leave.
Awfully slimy person, isn't he, Jared? What do you make of him?
I never trust those Vinlanders. Bunch of savages, a lot of them.
He doesn't think shit. Yeah,
he has a very well-informed opinion about the man and is totally judging him on his abilities.
Yes, of course. Would you mind fetching a... Actually, no, you know what? I think I'll have a walk to the garrison and I'll gather everyone up. Be mindful of the house, and if you see anyone skulking about, let them. We're not hiding anything here, are we?
I'm not.
Well, neither am I. Good to hear, Jared. And I'll walk out. Find the first sergeant that I can.
I don't know, you probably find a corporal.
Oh. Corporal Bianchi. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Lieutenant.
I have an assignment for you.
Very well.
Find Lieutenants Borja and Dumas and bring them over here for an emergency meeting.
A man on a horse is riding as hard as they can. Like they're riding around like this way a bit, like around in the center, and then they wheel around, see you, and start racing over to you.
I think I found the Lieutenant, or someone who knows.
Lieutenant!
Speak.
This damn horse.
Oh, come down, man. Get some water. Do something. Stop breathing so heavily. You're going to blow my clothes away.
Guy gets off his horse and very quickly grabs something to drink. A lady, Voltagier kind of peers at him a little confused, like confused why he's in such a rush and why he's so tired first thing in the morning. But whatever.
Now tell me, man, who's been running you ragged, man?
Sous Lieutenant Dumas. She sends word, and I wrote it down. Here you go, sir.
Alright. What does it say?
Water. Use your galleon. And then the two soldiers kind of argue among themselves while you look over the paper, and you see the message that Dumas sent for.
Except that I'm the only person who reads Galleon.
No, I can read.
Nope.
I can read Galleon as well.
Oh, okay.
I speak and read Galleon as a diplomat.
So yeah, thankfully this fool should really write things in trade because the militia is made up of various people, but he wrote it in Galleon, which thankfully you understand.
I mean, I'm entirely sympathetic and don't think we should write anything in trade language. But
So sorry. What does it say?
I believe, Dumas, you're trying to summon McNeil and everyone else to where you were going.
Oh yeah. Suspect that I suspect that the gunpowder was either shipped by wagon inland in this general area or direction, up this road, or to this cove. I am going to the cove. You should come or check one of the other directions.
Very well. Corporal Bianchi, is there a sergeant around here that you can trust?
I have been building up relations with.
What you do
garrison.
what you do at night with the garrison is none of my concern, Mr. Bianchi. Is there a sergeant that you can trust?
Around that
I
time, as
believe
you
there
see
is one.
Borgia coming in, because you're probably checking in for the morning,
Yeah.
getting your payday.
Ah. Lieutenant.
Diego, always nice to see you. Now, hold on just 1 second. We have work to do. Stay right there. Mr. Bianchi, you were saying.
Yes, I do believe there is one or two I could call upon.
Please fetch one.
I will fetch a sergeant who I've probably been training with.
Yep, probably the sergeant of the Voltigeurs who kind of comes over. Not even in uniform yet, because it's first thing in the morning. They just came in for the day.
Sergeant, I have an assignment for you. This paper has been delivered to me, and it is of the utmost importance that this every item that is on this list is returned to the Stornhelm residency by this afternoon. Am I clear?
Give me intelligence, either communication, leadership, or intelligence military lore.
That's a 20 with 4 stumbles.
Yeah, you totally do it. All right, I'll grab some line infantry that are already here, and we'll just rush over, sir. We'll get this done
and
quick pace.
be sure not to poke around any undergarments, or so I've been warned. Are we clear?
The female sergeant kind of blinks at you and kind of, yes, sir.
Good. Off you go then.
Sir,
Yes.
would you like me to accompany them? I am good at moving.
No, we have other things to take care of. Diego, you don't read Galleon, do you?
No.
Fine, well, I'll open up the letter and I'll give you a quick summary of what Isabel wrote. So that's where we're going. Suit up, grab your weapons.
Another rider rides along and goes, Borgia,
Not another
there you
one.
are.
River?
Lieutenant, Sir Lieutenant, letter for you from Lieutenant Dumas.
We'll take it.
It's a letter from Dumas asking you to come to her location.
This one has to be in trade language because I know that Diego does not speak Gallian. This is your eyes only.
Well, it just so happens to be our eyes now as well.
Get to this cove now with all due haste.
All right. I'll, with your permission, Lieutenant.
Yes,
I
yes.
will.
As I was about to say, go grab your things and your pack. You too as well, Bianchi, and we'll head out. Now, I'm not going to be carrying my pack with me. I'll just be carrying a canteen and maybe some rations. So bring some extra stuff for me, if you will, please.
Sir, I am already ready.
Well, good for you. Help Diego get ready then. What the hell are
Do
you
you
looking at me for?
Do you want us to take the Voltigeurs?
In a cove like this.
Well, if she has run into any sort of trouble, it might be good to have some backup.
Take 10 men you trust the most and who are not who are morning people and bring them over, yes.
All right, so Diego will roust out 10 Voltigeurs and get kitted up for a day march, and off we go at quick time. Hopefully,
will also
first I'll find out if one of them knows where the hell this cove is.
McNeil will pack very lightly, just the bare essentials along with
Not
his
really, no.
Can I add to the letter? P.S. If you don't know where it is, ask someone who's promiscuous.
You could have that, sure. But the Voltigeurs, shockingly, no, they're like Either they don't know or they're not telling.
Well, I'm glad to know that our voltigeurs aren't very promiscuous. At the very least, you've been keeping a good eye on them, Diego.
Too good of an eye. A good voltigeur should be a bit promiscuous.
You hear that, men? You've been failing your duties.
Homework assignment, you all need to go get laid.
Multiple times. Well, hang on. Perhaps we could ask the mayor, but would that imply something different?
I don't think the mayor's the person to ask, sir. Perhaps one of the fishermen on their way out of town.
You're implying that our fishermen are whoremongers.
I'm implying that our fishermen may be aware of secluded coves around the coast here and there,
All right,
to
fine.
where they might weather a sudden storm, for instance.
I shall accompany you, but if the fishermen turn out not to know anything, you have my permission to walk into a bordello, Diego. But just walk in there and ask, okay? Nothing else. Am I clear?
So, yeah, we'll double the voltigeurs will double time towards here, and then we'll on our way out of town try and find out where this cove is.
Good. Otherwise, I'll have to tell your aunt that you've been promiscuous. She wouldn't like to hear that, would she now?
Well, who do you think started me down that path?
Oh, for shame.
And I'll wander on.
For shame. Me, a gentleman and an officer.
Oh, you're one of those things.
He's barely the other.
So yeah, on the way out of town, we'll see if we can't, get the information from a fisherman.
Communication,
Diego.
investigation.
Well,
11?
No one would be that, And other fishermen are like, huh? Ollie's Cove? I don't know where that is. I've heard of it. Sure, it's where kids go, but
I'll
heard it's a terrible
spend
fishing
spend a
luck point, action point.
action point to boost it by 2 to see if a 13 gets it.
13
actually
gets it.
Okay.
One fisherman's like, oh, yeah. Well, if you really must know, I tried fishing there once. You did? Oh, come on, that's foolish. I know, but maybe everyone's wrong. You just go along this way and that way. He gives you some directions. I hope your voltigeurs are up for a bit of rock climbing, though. It's a pain in the neck to get out of there or in there by land.
Right, Diego, come on. We'll go over to the docks and commandeer a couple of dinghies.
Hi, Lieutenant. Unless you think we might be better served, I think Isabel did say the land route was possible.
I am not climbing over rocks, Diego. I'm tooled for this shit.
All right. But I was more thinking along the lines of that the wagon may not have gone by boat. It might have gone by land, as Isabel indicated, was the other possibility. Of course, by now, catching up on foot would be very difficult.
Not potentially. We don't have enough horses for everyone, so we'll have to get a quick march going. Are you okay with that?
Do you want to perhaps take 5 of the men and go by boat, and I'll take the rest and Bianchi here and go check the land route?
That doesn't sound like too bad of an idea. All right,
well.
pick 5 that you wish and give them to me. We'll head over by boat.
All right, I'll do that, and then the rest of us will head out quick time.
As you start
Down
heading
the
out,
road.
you see Captain Leclerc riding up to you.
Ah, Captain, good morning.
Lieutenant, gather up all the soldiers and bring them to the garrison.
Sir, I'm afraid, has something gone wrong?
Not for the streets. Get them there. Now, Lieutenant.
Ah, well, you heard him. Sir Lieutenant, gather these voltigeurs, bring them back to the garrison. Post haste, come on.
I'll give the fisherman who admitted to knowing where the cove was some sort of donative to ask him to sail there and tell the officers he finds to return to the garrison.
5 silver would do it just fine.
Yeah, not a problem. And then about face.
Everyone's pulled back here. Meanwhile, poor Dumas.
Corn.
Boop.
Oh, it's Corin. I thought it was just corn. It's corn.
Core.
It's a very straight coast to have coves.
Well, this is a cheap map, all right?
Yeah,
all you have to
That's
say
kind
is
of map.
It's the measuring coast problem, right? The more you zoom in, the longer the coast gets.
Yep.
So yeah, Dumas. Your men are not sailors, nor are they boatmen. It took way too stupid long to get to this cove, but you're here. And everyone's exhausted. But you're in the cove, finally. I should mark that the cove's here, so we know where it is.
C'est la vie.
Cover? Cove. Yes.
All right. We pull the. I mean, I guess there's no one like standing out on the beach, is there?
No.
Okay.
You're kind of in this. When you pull into the cove, it's like a lot of rocky outcropping surrounded like this small little lagoon-looking thing. Yeah, this was like the kind of place that, in theory, you could hike here on foot if you really felt like it, but you know, it'd be a pain in the like. You don't see the obvious path to get in and out of here, other than by boat.
All right. Pull the boat up on the beach. Any signs of obvious activity?
Perception seeing, or tracking, or intelligence lateral, or natural.
Yeah, when the assignment was create a cavalry officer, I did not create a noir detective.
That's your first mistake. It was raining in the Empire.
You look around. You don't see any obvious signs of movement, but then again, who the hell knows? You don't go to coves. You're kind of tired yourself, honestly. It's been a long night. You see there's a cave over there, but it's kind of hard to miss.
All right, say, men, draw your swords. We have a bit of exploring to go do in Molly's Cove, and let's go to the cave.
You mean clubs, Sue Lieutenant? Says the sergeant, a little stifling a yawn as best he can so he's not yawning in your face. It was a bad attempt at a joke, madame.
I'm sure it was.
Yes, I imagine it was very funny. All right, everyone, out of the boat. Let's go. And you trudge up toward the cave. You're at the cave mouth.
Light the torch and head in.
Light your torch. Start marching your way in. Perception seeing.
Oh, God. It's always the same question, and the answer is always, I can't.
Oh no. You have any action points by chance? Just curious.
No, I spent them all on perception seeing rolls.
I know. I know.
Tonight has not been good for us.
You march forward into the cave.
And to a bottomless pit. Oh!
And you feel a bit of pressure at your leg, and the pressure immediately wanes. And you hear a plink noise.
Uh-oh.
Then you hear a sizzling noise.
I'll jump back.
Wow. The sergeant, you start stepping back, the sergeant immediately grabs you and bodily just hauls you and hucks you backward as hard as he can.
Man, we got to keep this sergeant. He's been making badass rolls.
Woof. The place you were standing gets engulfed in smoke and fire as the tunnel explodes. You take no damage because the sergeant threw you out of the way on top of you jumping away.
I'll get up, dust myself, and I'll say, by the saint, we have them.
And
They're
you
here.
notice you're without sergeant.
Did he throw himself in?
He threw you out. And you notice there's a cave-in of rocks where he and 2 other people were.
Do I see his body or part of it?
Mm-hmm. Perception seeing.
What was that noise?
You see bits of uniform.
I'll shout. Can you hear me?
You hear no response, but the rumbling of rocks and dust. And the stunned, murmuring noises of shock as the soldiers around you. We're not expecting to be near gunpowder this morning, and they're really shaken.
Help me move this. We're not going to leave them behind.
Intelligence military lore. Or communication leadership. Actually, I just remembered. You have engineering. You might know the best way to do it. To pull that away. Intelligence engineering, I think it is.
Yep.
It is a painful few hours of hauling, moving. And then more rocks, more moving. It's sweaty work. It gets to the point where people have to take off their jackets, unless you tell them they have to keep them on, but they really want to take them off because they're getting sweaty and tired. They start moving more rocks and throwing them out and moving more rocks, until eventually, as you're still moving rocks away, and you actually manage to get one of the soldiers out, who's unconscious and badly battered by rocks, and they start tending to this person to see if they're alive or not. And before they're able to report to you, you hear a, "Hello there! Is anyone here?" calling out from the water somewhere. And everyone just freezes, and some people pick up their clubs, and they look at you.
How far away are we from having this cleared?
You still have halfway more to go, at least. And another way to put it, there's 2 more people stuck in there. So they may be very deep in, or they may be a lot more, they may have tried to dive out a little. This guy was probably further back and just happened to be caught. That's why you found them. The other 2 may be deeper in. They may have tried to dive deeper into a void to try to get away from the blast that way.
I'll tell the men to keep digging. I'll go handle this. And I'll walk to the mouth of the cave, sword and carbine drawn.
You see a fisherman in a boat.
I'll yell at him, state your name and purpose, or you've been warned.
You're in uniform, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a blink of, especially with the carbine, everyone's like, flinch, and then sees the very obvious Lysell uniform. I'm Antoine Duval. I bring word from Diego Borgia. Apparently you're supposed to bring all your people back to the garrison or something. He gestures. He sent me to come find you.
Ah. He requests this on his own initiative?
The captain was there. I presume he told him to do it.
Did you hear that? Or are you speculating?
Speculating mostly, to be honest with you, but he looked really adamant about it.
Diego did?
Yeah.
All right. Tell him you may if you would, I would send a casualty with you, and you can return to him and say that unless I receive any orders from Lieutenant McNeil or the captain countermanding previous orders, I have an objective that I must see to.
All right then. Casualty, you say? Let me get closer, so you don't have to pull him out in the water. 1 second. And he kind of starts getting his boat. He starts going through the works of getting his boat closer to shore. Because he literally was out in the middle of the water shouting out, because he didn't want to go all the way and beach himself and then find out no one's here. Because it's kind of a pain to pull himself up. But he's not going to go full on, because he knows that you need to leave with whoever this is. Diego Borgia, you can give me intelligence military lore. You may have thought of this. Thought that he might. Oh, you're BRB right now. That's unfortunate. Oh.
Sorry, I'm here. I forgot to put back.
Ah.
I've been just quietly listening.
Intelligence military lore. Your character may have thought that Doma would do this, which is a reasonable thing for her to do. This fisherman did not fail on his role to properly word what happened. You may have thought, okay.
15.
Over time, I imagine you get your people to bring the casualty down to the boat.
Yes.
Once he starts hauling the person in, he goes, oh, I got a letter from him, actually. Bit of paper. Hold on. Here you go. Kind of leans out of the boat. One of the soldiers does not make you tramp through the water. They grab it for you.
I go to get it from him in the boat.
Oh. Soldier blinks at you in surprise, like, oh, okay.
You said this letter is from Diego?
Yeah, he handed it to me. Sorry, I plumb forgot about it.
I feign slipping in the water with the letter.
Give me a communication deception. Oh, Mr. Fisherman, you are not ready for this deception at all. Good luck. Get more than 5.
What a weird way to finally roll over 10.
Oh, you're right. He leans over.
Damn unfortunate. I can't make out anything now. It's all running. You'll have to convey my apologies to the lieutenant on my clumsiness.
Oh, no, I mean, the water's slippery. It's fine. You sure you're all right?
Uniform's a bit wet, but hard work ahead of me will dry it out.
All right, then. Anyone else? Actually, here. He goes back to his boat. He holds out a shovel out to you.
I'll take the shovel. If I calculate right, there should be how many men were lost in the rocks? Just the sergeant and one other?
Sergeant and 2 others.
Sergeant and 2 others.
So you're down
so
to
that
3
means
men
there
with
are
you.
3 men. One of the wounded people, one of the ones lost with the sergeant is now in the boat.
Yep.
All right, I'll look to them and say, Volunteers only to stay here and try to rescue the sergeant. Others should return.
How many people did we say? 3?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Only 1 volunteers to stay. The other 2 are just way too tired and are scared. But one's like, no, I'm saving the sergeant. I know him. I'm not leaving him behind.
All right. Good man. Go back into the cave.
The other 2 look really sheepish and ashamed. They don't say anything. And the other person who's staying with you doesn't even look him in the eye. Just grab shovel and heads up to get to work. So the fisherman just kind of nods, looks up at the cave. Good luck. You want me to bring some more people to help you, or?
You can inform Diego if Lieutenant Borgia, if he has any people available. I would request them if he has no extenuating orders.
Alright. Tips his hat at you and gets to work to start sailing back out of the cove and rush back to the village. And I believe with that we shall end. As many a thing is learned, secrets unveiled, and a plot that extends far afield, something is rotten in Lysell, and hopefully, the soon-to-be heroes of the war will figure it out in due time. Until next time, for all of you watching, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing. I'll see you all again next time.